Boston. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Metrodome in Minneapolis. In 1930, they played for the slab of bacon. Since 1948, they've played for Paul Bunyan's axe. Joining us here today at the Metrodome, our partner, Holly Rowe.
Hey, guys. Today, Barry Alvarez, the coach of Wisconsin, is not with his team. He's recovering in the Mayo Clinic from knee surgery he had on Tuesday while he awaits his knee replacement surgery. Hi, Coach Alvarez. He is watching on TV, and he is going to be on headset with the coaches on the sideline and his coaching staff in the press box. Now, this is a violation to have a coach anywhere outside of the stadium on headset and having a replay monitor. So through the Big Ten supervisor of officials, they've worked out a negotiation that the Minnesota coaching staff can also have a replay monitor in their coaching booth so that there is no unfair advantage to Wisconsin for Coach Alvarez to be watching this game on television. Glenn Mason says he likes Barry. He was happy to work out this situation because if he was in the same situation, he would want to have contact with his team as well. Steve?
All right, Holly, thanks. And what a big deal that was all week around the Twin Cities, and we'll get into that more as the broadcast goes on. The acting head coach for Wisconsin, he's the assistant head coach. Today he's working for Barry Alvarez. He's John Palermo in his 9th year at Wisconsin.
The one thing that they're going to miss, obviously, with Barry Alvarez in a hospital bed is his visceral feel for the game. It's one thing to sit there and see things on TV and make an analytical approach, but Barry is known for having a great feel for the game. That's one thing that's going to be missing today for the Badgers. Wisconsin
won the toss. They have deferred. Minnesota will receive in their dark home uniforms. Vitaly Pisetsky will kick it off for Wisconsin. The Badgers come in 3-2, 1-1 in the Big Ten, off a big victory over Ohio State a week ago. And back for it, Minnesota, is Tyrone Carter. The big tackler trying to get a big run back, and there is a flag on the play. Jason Schick had the tackle on the special teams. One play, already one penalty flag. We check our advanced starting lineups. The Minnesota offense, the Minnesota coaches all say that for them to have a chance to win this game, Billy Cockerham, the quarterback, has to be their best player. The wideouts, Luke Leverson, had a big game last year against Wisconsin. 3 catches, 73 yards, and the Gophers' only touchdown. On the offensive line, led by Ben Hamilton. He had 9 pancake blocks last week's win against Ohio. And there is the quarterback, Billy Cockerham. Set to lead on 1st and 10. Minnesota will start at their own 14 lineup. One back, and that's the way they play it. T-Ham, they call him. Thomas Hamner is the running back. And they give it to Hamner, and picks up some good yardage on 1st down. Joey Boze on the stop. The Wisconsin defense up front, Wendell Bryan is their best pass rusher. He led the team with 6 sacks so far. At the backers, Chris Cadorzi leads the club in tackles with 36 of them. And among the defensive backs, Jamar Fletcher had 7 interceptions last season as a freshman. That led the entire nation. Looking for a short one, they've got that and more from Hamner, and a 1st down for Minnesota.
2 different situations here, Steve, where they decided to go with a different formation. They went with the spread. They brought in 4 wide receivers, spread people out, took the 7 out of the box, and that's enabled Hamner to get some excellent yardage in his first 2 carries.
They move the ball out. Hamner, so far, the 2 carries, good for 19 yards. 4 wide receivers on 1st and 10 from the 33. And why not? Give it to Hamner, fly on the left side. He's about halfway to another 1st down.
Well, Steve Loney is looking pretty creative here as the offensive coordinator for Minnesota. I'm joking, of course. That's the exact same play for 3 straight times. It has garnered, as you pointed out, Steve, now 25, 26 yards on 3 carries. And as the adage goes, if you can't stop it, stay with it. Minnesota has no reason to go to the air at this point. Wisconsin's the one that's going to have to make some adjustments.
We would expect to see this kind of offense out of the Badgers as well when they get Rondane the football. 2nd and 5 now from the 38. This time they'll go up top off the play action. Cockerham rolling around the air, take off. He's across midfield and finally knocked out of bounds by Jason Goring. A pickup of 17 yards on the play for the quarterback.
Set up extremely well. by the fact that they were running so well to the left side. 3 straight times they go. Now watch the flow. Watch the people that have to come with the crossing routes. Everybody's going to go in this direction. Cochran fakes the handoff. Nothing but AstroTurf out here. He has no reason to throw the ball. And with his 4.5 speed, he's able to break, contain, get the Gophers on the other side of midfield in good shape at the 45.
This is a Minnesota offense that has outscored the opposition 156-28 so far. Some question the opposition. They will not question it today. Straight back drop. Swinging left. Hamner. And he's got plenty of running room. He's across the 30 and inside the 25. Thomas Hamner finally brought down by Gadorzi. A pickup of 22 there on the screen into the flag.
Mike Eccles does a poor job of tackling in the secondary, and right now Steve Loney, the offensive coordinator, is pushing all the right buttons. Here comes the juke move. Eccles needs to come up and at least cut off a little bit, but all he can do is get a hand on his hand. Hamner does a good job of shaking and baking for a 21-yard gain.
Minnesota humming down the field now on 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 24-yard line of the Badgers.
But for whatever reason, Steve, Wisconsin's defense is certainly on its heels.
Thomas Hamner will take a breather. Byron Evans will replace him at the running back position, and not for too long. There you see the numbers for Thomas Hamner when he catches the football out of the backfield. So far, the Minnesota offense, 5 plays, 66 yards. And it's brought him to the 24 on a 1st and 10. Cockerham, straight drop, to pass. Lawson towards the end zone. That's it! Touchdown! Touchdown, Minnesota! It's Arlen Bruce. 24-yard score on the pass play. Awaiting now the extra point from Dan Nystrom. Dan Nystrom pumps it through.
Sold-out crowd is excited and they have it right to be. Everything going well for the Minnesota offense early on. Up 7-0.
Are you ready for this? Kick Old Man winter in the teeth with Prestone Antifreeze, the #1 way to fight corrosion and protect your aluminum radiator to 84 below. Get in the Prestone zone so nothing can stop you now.
Hey, beer mime. Coors Light? Are you scared? Nervous? Crowds make you nervous. Beer's cold. Because it's frost brewed. Okay, got it. You're climbing a ladder. No, you're climbing a mountain. Oh, yeah, because it's Born in the Rockies. And delivered by mine. That's very funny. That's very funny. Just give me the beer. Check this out. Keep the change.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're going to love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You got to eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism.
Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
We process oranges and cocoa in Brazil. Blend and distribute animal feeds on 5 continents. Export North American grain to hungry markets around the world. And produce fertilizers in Saskatchewan and Florida, where our neighbors are flocking to their new home. Cargill. It's not just what we do, it's how we do it.
Are you ready for this? Kick Old Man winter in the teeth with Prestone Antifreeze, the #1 way to fight corrosion and protect your aluminum radiator to 84 below. Get in the Prestone zone so nothing can stop you now.
Here's wondering if they have a spare TV at the Mayo Clinic for Barry Alvarez in case he just threw his shoe right through the screen. Took a whole 2 minutes and 16 seconds, and he finds the Badgers, without him today, are down in Minnesota 7-0.
Well, Kevin Cosgrove can't be very happy as you saw the back of his head talking with his defensive charges. They didn't make any adjustments at all. And, Steve, it's not like they've ever seen a spread offense.
Mike Albert kicks it off. And back returning it for Wisconsin. A flag on the kickoff, as we saw on the other kickoff as well. Nick Davis, the return, brought it out just shy of the 20, but we'll see where they spot it after the penalty marker.
Big hit on the part of Blake Zocker, the defensive back, who drops him inside the 20, so this is going to be atrocious field position for Wisconsin. Bobby Myers, the free safety for Wisconsin, is not used to being in man-for-man coverage. And there he is out on an island against Bruce. The hand fighting, he stumbles down. Bruce able to make the catch. Folks, that is not interference. Don't even think about it. Incidental contact. Score one for the Gophers.
That is Bruce's first touchdown catch of the season. His 5th catch of the season, first for a touchdown. And there you see the scoring drive. Their shortest gain on that drive was 5 yards. You'll take that every time. The Wisconsin offense, led by Brooks Bollinger at quarterback. Motion in the backfield. They play action. Bollinger to pass on first down. Now he tucks it under, and he'll run across the middle, out to the 20. And we check out the advanced auto starting lineups for Wisconsin. Bollinger, his second start. All he did in his first start was rally the Badgers back from a 17-0 deficit at Ohio State. The wideouts. Chris Chambers, he's missed 2 games already, and he's still the team's leading receiver. And the offensive line as a group, they've combined to start 108 games entering this season, the highest total in the nation. Mark Tauscher is the only one who is not a returning starter. That was a first down for Bollinger on the scramble. This time they'll give it to the back, and that is Ron Dane. And Dane is met just about immediately at the line of scrimmage by Delvin Jones, who came up from his free safety position. Up front for Minnesota, they're led by Tyrone Rattly. He leads the Big Ten in sacks, averaging a couple per game. We'll watch for that. The backer, Sean Hoffman, he might be the only one on the Minnesota side who really knows anything about Bollinger. They went head-to-head in high school in North Dakota. And among the DBs, Tyrone Carter, the best tackler, maybe in the nation among DBs. He was challenged all week for poor tackling in the game against Ron Dane in Wisconsin a season ago. So we'll watch for improvement there. 2nd and 7 from the 23. Give left to Dane. And again, not much running room on that left side.
One of the dangers that's going to occur here is they've got 8 and 9 in the box. Defensive coordinator David Gibbs said that they're going to have to put 9 in the box to stop Ron Dane. And right now they're doing an excellent job here in the first 2 carries. But Steve, what's going to happen? Mark my words right here. He's going to break through the first wave of tacklers, and there's going to be nobody left. Dane is destined for some big gains today.
There is a wear and tear factor with Dane, and I don't mean about the running back. I mean about the wear and tear he puts on the defenders. We'll watch for that second half for sure. On 3rd down and 5, Bollinger will throw away, but there's a late flag. 2 late flags. They expect to see pass interference.
Willie Middlebrooks was all over Chambers there. It's a good call by the official. And I'm not exactly sure that it would have been a situation where he would have caught the ball, but Middlebrooks all over the back of Chambers. The result is going to be a first down for Wisconsin.
This would be a big defensive stop for Glenn Mason and his club if they could get it, already with a 7-0 lead. As we await the official word.
Pass interference. Defense. Spot foul. Automatic first down. Well, again, here's the slant route. Watch to the left. Bollinger delivers the ball, and you can see right there he's already all over the top of him. It's a difficult pass to defend, but you cannot go through the body of the receiver. That's what Middlebrooks does, and it had to be called.
Even if he caught that ball, he might have been short of the first down, but the flag gives him the automatic first down. And they'll start now 1st and 10 from the 29. Out of the I formation, Chad Coons and Ron Dane in the backfield. And they'll give it to Dane. First time from the right side today. And he barrels out just over the 30-yard line. Tyrone Carter came up to make that tackle along with Justin Hall.
Tyrone Carter is their stud. He's their guy in the secondary, and it's amazing for somebody that averages 11 tackles a game. Usually, you know, there's some safeties that can do that, but they're always at the 205, 210, 6'2", 6'3" variety. 5'9", 184 pounds. He is on pace to be the all-time leading tackler in the history of NCAA defensive backs. That is amazing.
Today he's trying to stop Ron Dane, who's trying to become the all-time career rushing leader in NCAA history. We'll document that throughout. Off the play action to Dane, and they'll throw it out to the left side. And the pass complete to Doug Retzlaff, the backup tight end who is playing today in place of the injured John Sigmund, a pickup of 10.
Well, Ron Dane has had an outstanding career, as everybody knows, but against Minnesota, he has been particularly good. In the 3 games against Minnesota, you can see the 613 yards. He has averaged 42 carries per game against Minnesota. He had a 50-carry game as a freshman against the Gophers, so he certainly looks forward to playing the maroon and gold.
The magic number for Dane, 944 yards, coming into today to become college football's all-time leading rusher, surpassing Ricky Williams. Now give it to Dane again. Nearly busted that one. He's just across midfield, and he knows it.
What I was talking about earlier, Steve, is that when you have the 9 in the box, they need to make the tackle at the point of attack. If they do not, Ron Dane has a chance to go the distance. Watch here, and just as he gets tripped up, and take a look here in the secondary if there's anybody remaining that can make the play. Here's the break. He cuts back. Free safety has to, that's Delvin Jones who once again makes the tackle. If he doesn't stumble right there, Steve, he might go to the house.
And he is a workhorse. You saw the carries against Minnesota career. Carries the football against everybody. 32 carries, 161 yards against Ohio State a week ago, and the 5th 4-touchdown game of his career.
Well, one of the other things that's particularly impressive, too, is the fact that he does not lay the ball on the ground. He does not. He has, it's just astonishing. 0.76 fumbles per, 100 carries.
The Wisconsin people went out of their way to show you how many times Ricky Williams fumbled in his senior season from 2010. Caught behind the line of scrimmage. Dane is stopped. Tyrone Rattly came over to make the first hit. John Schleck was right in the backfield as well.
But for whatever reason, Schleck just anticipates the count. He sees the pulling guard, and he is able to get in quickly. Dave Costa is going to pull. He's going to see it, and he's going to knife right in. Actually, Wisconsin was very lucky in that situation that they didn't fumble the ball, now coming up 3rd and more than 10.
You have to be impressed, and we talked about the wear and tear factor, but you have to be impressed by this Minnesota defense on Dane, even though it's early.
They're taking some chances, though. It could, they might pay for it later on, though, Steve.
All right, 3rd and 11. You would think this would be a passing situation out of the eye. And they look to throw. Here's he threw. He was hit by Rattly again in the backfield, forcing the errant pass. Minnesota holds. Wisconsin will have to punt it away.
Well, that's going to be a great battle today because you're going to have Chris McIntosh, the all-Big Ten left offensive tackle, against Rattly in these situations. Rattly coming into the game had 8 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. He is a penetrator. He is their guy.
You see how fired up the players are after every single play, and we asked the coaches and everyone we spoke to. There's nobody deep for Minnesota. As we get the punt from Kevin Stemke.
This is a bad decision. I don't know if they got a break.
Takes a Minnesota bounce.
Steve, I'm looking at a situation where Stemke is going to have some huge average there with nobody back there. He's going to get a chance to let it roll. Instead, Minnesota is going to come up with tremendous field position at the 36.
Down by Ryan Marks. It'll go as a punt of 21 yards. Minnesota the lead.
To build the new LeSabre, we didn't just look to research numbers or test scores. We also took a good look at your family. Introducing the all-new 2000 LeSabre, re-engineered with more safety features than any other car in its class. The new 2000 LeSabre by Buick.
It's here, it's yours, and it's in progress at Ball Furniture in downtown Marshfield and in Wausau. That major manufacturer's factory direct sale with sensational reductions on furniture for just about every room in your home. You can shop the savings on famous Bassett's, Lazy Boy, Sealy, Posturepedic, Marshfield. The names go on, and you'll find with no interest, no finance charge, and final payment not due for 6 months. Ask for details of the sale or use Visa and MasterCard during the major manufacturer's factory direct sale at Ball Furniture in downtown Marshfield and Wausau.
When severe weather threatens, Experience changes raw points and numbers into reliable forecasts. The experience of Chief Meteorologist Mike Brunling and Storm Team 7 is the experience that puts the power of technology to work. For dependable, accurate forecasts, trust Storm Team 7.
Back in the Twin Cities, 7-0 in favor of Minnesota. They'll take over on 1st and 10 from their own 36 after huddling on the sideline. Their first drive took 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Went 6 plays, 86 yards for the touchdown. Here's Carter running the option to Thomas Hamner, and he's got another first down, just shy of the midfield marker, forced out by Jason Doring on the play.
Jamar Fletcher is an outstanding cover corner, but he's not much in run support. He was a good 15 yards downfield. And once Cochran is able to break, contain, and pitch the ball, there's nobody in the secondary. Thompson is in pursuit, but he's from the linebacking position. Number 2 is so far downfield that Minnesota is able to get another first down.
You know, I started to say, we talked to the coaches, everyone around this rivalry, and said, hey, is this media fueled? Is this fan fueled? They said, no way. This is important to the players and the coaching staff. More important than, say, any other game. To this point in the season, of course. Until next week's game. 1st and 10. Ball spotted at midfield. Cochran straight drop to throw. Launches it nicely up in the air. He had a man, and it's off the hands of Alex Haas. And we check in with Holly Rowe.
Gentlemen, one of the things I'm noticing on the sideline early after Minnesota's touchdown, John Palermo, the acting head coach, sprinted back to the bench and was yelling at their defensive line. He's generally the defensive line coach, and it seemed like there was a great deal of confusion on their assignments. Todd, what kind of distraction is it for a coach who's used to just dealing with his players during the game to have to be the acting coach?
Well, certainly you're in an administrative capacity. You have to legislate more than actually coach, and that's got to be difficult for John Palermo. But as you pointed out, he's the D-line guy. He's going to get on him if he feels like it. And part of the situation here, Steve, as he goes for 6 yards again, is the fact that they're spreading people out, and for whatever reason, the defensive line are not filling the gaps. The offensive line for Minnesota is doing an outstanding job. Kevin Cosgrove has to be very frustrated at this point, defensive coordinator for Wisconsin. You can see it on his face. Not a very happy man with the way his Badgers are playing.
Cosgrove, the only remaining member of Alvarez's original staff in his 5th year at Wisconsin. 3rd down, 3rd and 5 from the 45. Cochran throws complete to Thomas Hamner. Had one man to beat for the first down and couldn't beat him. And Jamar Fletcher came up to make the solo tackle.
Okay, give him his due. I was critical the last time on the option that he wasn't in run support. This time, he's able to do it. Right in open space, the most difficult thing for a defensive back. Hamner puts the juke on him. Textbook tackle by Jamar Fletcher. He drops him short of the first down.
And Ryan Rindels is back in punt formation for Minnesota. Tim Roska is the lone deep man for Wisconsin. Unlike Minnesota, Wisconsin will have a player back there to return the punt, or attempt to. He'll let it go. A bounce, and Minnesota will down it at the 5-yard line. Darren Rattly downed it, so it's a punt of 38 yards. So we'll step out with 6:27 of the play here in the first. Minnesota by a touchdown.
United is setting the standard for others to follow. Rising is leading.
Enjoy free home banking from People's State Bank. You can find us now at www.psbwausau.com. Member FDIC.
Our pain management clinic offers progressive treatment for both physical and psychological needs.
By the year 2000, we expect that 80% of children's cancers will be curable.
Whether it's surgery, chemotherapy, or radiation therapy, the latest treatments are available here.
A reminder from Yox Body and Custom.
You won't do better than Yox.
We guarantee it.
Enjoy free home banking from People's State Bank. You can find us now at www.psbwausau.com. Member FDIC.
Back in Minnesota, the Gophers are up 7-0 over Wisconsin. And now we're taking a look at Darren Rattly, who just downed that punt. He plays on special teams for Minnesota, but he's a very unusual story. He works full-time at General Mills. He's a scholar athlete, and the bosses agreed to let him attend practice. So after a full day of work, he goes to practice. After he dropped one catch, though, a few weeks ago, he went back to his desk at work. There was a note on his computer that says, "Hey, did you forget to eat your Wheaties?" Of course, that's what General Mills makes your cereal.
Thanks, Holly. On 1st and 10 now, from the 5-yard line, they try Ron Dane, and Dane gets him out just about to the 10-yard line. Ben Mesera made the stop.
Something we should point out here, though, with regards to Rattly, is the fact that he only does practice twice a week as the long snapper, but against Illinois State, number 18, had his first catch of his career, a 42-yarder. So maybe they dogged him about the drop, but homeboy can catch the ball. You know what? I have a thing for long snappers. Let me tell you how important they are. Anymore, if you look at the NFL, they're all specialists. Those guys are crucial to the success of special teams.
Spoken like a true former long snapper. Want to talk about that play in the Super Bowl, or is this a bad time? They drive Dane again, and he is stopped at the 10-yard line. Ron Dane not finding any daylight so far. Tyrone Riley again got to him. A strong game from Riley so far.
What has to happen here is that Delvin Jones right here, the free safety, who normally plays in center field, he's not playing the normal free safety. Look at this. He's stepping up into the middle of the line. What's going to happen for Wisconsin here at some point is they're going to have to go play action and go to the post because they have a free safety that's sitting in the middle of the field. Wisconsin is not sitting in the middle of the field, rather. They need to take advantage of that and go up top.
Dane needs to average 157 yards per game to break Ricky Williams' mark. Well, so far he's averaging less than 2 yards a carry today, folks. 7 carries, 12 yards. Let's go pass here. Some decent touch on that ball. Put it up too high as they were looking to Chris Chambers. And Willie Middlebrooks came up to have the coverage.
Middlebrooks does a nice job this time of not going through the body. Unlike the last time, that's what he did. Chambers is a big receiver, but take a look at Middlebrooks with his 4.38 speed right with him as he was able to knock it down. This time, I'm looking deep. It appears that Carter's going to be in there this time.
He is just on his side of the 50-yard line. Kevin Stepke, the first punt, took a big Minnesota bounce. That's why it only went for 22 yards. Stepke punting from his own end zone. Off the low snap, able to get it away. High spiraling kick. Carter has it at his own 45 and won't make it across midfield. He's forced out. 45-yard punt, a 4-yard return before Tim Roska got to him. We'd like to take this time to thank our Big Ten corporate sponsors, Illanova, 7-Up, and Value City Department Stores. Thanks to them.
Usually Wisconsin is the team that wins the battle of field position, Steve, but up to this point, Minnesota has had great starting field position, whereas Wisconsin's been bogged down in their own end.
And they'll do it again. Start just on their side of the 50-yard line. On 1st and 10, Billy Cockrum with Thomas Hamner. And there you see the average starting position. What a difference it is. Hamner will try it. Right side, he's across midfield. Picked up for about 5 on the play. It'll bring up a second down. Dan Lasowski made the stop.
What Minnesota is doing here, they flexed out their tight end. They're going with what basically looks like a spread formation. They have the 4 guys out. What that does, Steve, is that they cannot put 7 in the box. They have to have the 4 people out to cover, and of course they have to have the free safety in the middle of the field. The result is that even though Minnesota's offensive line has not been terribly dominating up to this point, they're the guys that are doing all the things right. There's the man right there, Steve Loney, who we had a nice chat with yesterday, doing all the right things.
Passing on 2nd and 7. Ball is knocked away. If there's not a flag, then it's really good coverage on Ron Johnson by Mike Eccles.
Mike Eccles was burned earlier, but this time he goes over the top. This is pretty subjective. Sometimes when they go over the back, they're inclined to call that. Take a look. Decide for yourself. There he grabs. There's a little bit of the holding. Comes over the top. Now, that's questionable. That's one that could have been called, but he's able to get away with it. As Raymond Chester used to tell me, if you get away with it, it's a good play.
Looked good to me. 3rd and 7 from the 47. the defense offside. 2 players moving on the defensive front, including Wendell Bryant.
Was the defensive line coach, John Palermo, is going to be very pleased with this. Just shows an incredible lack of discipline for his charges. A veteran group primarily. You can see his face, his expression. He's very happy with what he sees. And, of course, that's going to give them a third and much shorter situation to get the first.
What do you think Barry's saying on the phone line to the sideline right now?
I don't know if it's printable, but one of the things he has to consider, certainly at this point.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, still goes down.
One of the things that he's going to have to consider at this point, Steve, is making some sort of adjustment in terms of gaps for his front 4, because Minnesota, at least up to this point, has been running at will.
Kalaji and Bryant both could have been called for the offside. Bring up a 3rd and 2 from the 42.
Now they go with it when effect is a goal line package defensive. This is a great opportunity for Cochran to go with some play action.
4 wide, out of the shotgun. Cochran going to take off. He was stopped by Kalaji again.
That's great pursuit from the backside by Kalaji, and frankly, I don't understand that call. I really don't. They're running as well as they can. Spread the 4 wides out, hand to your 1 back in the backfield.
Flag on the play.
Well, the chop block situation is because you have, you're going outside. Again, I don't understand why they would want to do this. Everything going their way. They've got field position, hand off to your back or play action, go up top, jam everybody and try and fool them. This didn't fool anybody, and Glenn Mason, with the histrionics, he can't be very happy.
Mason said of the talent between these 2 teams, he said if you had a choose-up game and threw all these players on the field...
Illegal crackback below the knee. On the offense, 15-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
He said if you had a choose-up game, you threw all the players on the field, he said there would be a lot more Badgers taken before Golden Gophers. The difference in talent, although we're not seeing that difference here today so far.
Well, what a difference between 3rd and 1 and 3rd 15. The thing that Glenn Mason isn't very happy about is it becomes subjective. Oftentimes, having had that experience, you'll hit a guy up top, slide down, and he trips over you, and it looks like you hit him with the legs. And so I think that's what Glenn Mason is beefing about, saying, no, that was not done with intent. You should have thrown the flag.
Bring it back to their side of the football field. Minnesota on a 3rd and 16 from the 44. Cochran rolling to his right, throwing across his body, and overthrew Hamner. And they'll be forced to punt it away. John Favre had coverage.
And great recognition on the part of Favre. Inevitably, when you roll right and come back, the defensive end goes in pursuit and he gets fooled. Good discipline on the part of number 96, who's been hurt a lot this year. Thus the reason why he hasn't had some of the defensive statistics that he had in '98.
Favre, one of those undersized ends, 240 pounds. Nick Davis is back deep for Wisconsin. Ryan Rindels will punt it away for Minnesota. High spiraling kick. And the fair catch. Punt of 42 yards. And Wisconsin will take over 1st and 10 from their own 13-yard line. And we check in with Mike Gleason back at Studio 66.
Well, Steve, Penn State strikes first in Iowa City. Joe Paterno using another page from the big play offense. This time it's Eddie Drummond, the wide receiver, former high school running back. As you can see, he goes in virtually untouched. 65 yards for the Nittany Lions, and Penn State opens up a 7-0 lead over Iowa. Now back to Steve and Todd of the sold-out Metrodome.
Hey, Steve, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? There are going to be some stripes or some polka dots in those uniforms, because that can't be the Nittany Lion offense. It can't be. Reversing, all those passes. Wow.
Getting wild and crazy. Is Bollinger in trouble, and he's dropped at the 5-yard line by Austin Assay.
Once again, Karan Riley is in the mix. Wisconsin coming into the game evidently felt like that they were going to be okay with Riley and man up with the man. You pointed out the fact that another defensive end who is undersized at 240, 245 pounds. With the exception of sumo wrestling, I can't think of another profession where 240 pounds is undersized. Nonetheless, Riley has been wreaking havoc early on in the backfield for Wisconsin.
That's so important. Undersized 240. 2nd and 18 off the sack from the 5-yard line. Seems like Minnesota's had Wisconsin there all game, and they have them now at the 3-yard line as Bollinger has 5 Golden Gophers on top of him, led by Ben Mezzera.
Risky call near your own goal line with the pitch, but that shows the confidence that they have in Bollinger. Up to this point, Steve, I would have thought that Wisconsin's offensive line would have been a little bit more dominant, but the penetration once again by Schleck causes the problem. Bollinger has to cut back against the grain and is dropped for a loss.
Keep in mind, Wisconsin did play from behind last week. They were down 17-0, and then had their biggest comeback in the Alvarez era, going on to win 42-17 at Ohio State. It was the Buckeyes' worst home loss in 32 years. They don't want to make a habit out of it. On 3rd and 19, Ron Dane finally finds some running room. That might have been his best carry of the day to this point, and there wasn't still a whole lot. Jones and Carter on the stop for Minnesota.
Well, once again, Minnesota is doing a great job of playing the game of field position. That's 2 straight times now they've gone 3 and out inside their own 15-yard line, and that just can't continue for the Badgers to be successful.
Tyrone Carter is deep, although not that deep considering where Minnesota's going to get the ball. He's just on his side of the 50. Kevin Stempke will punt it again from his own end zone and nearly blocked. There was contact behind the play. The Stempke was taken down. The ball is fielded, and it is brought out to the 47-yard line of Wisconsin. A punt of 42 yards, a return of 6, but the flag for the contact.
Steve, youth will be served, and Mike Lahan just should know better. Even if he does, even if he is able to get in there, it makes absolutely no sense. You're playing the game of field position. Things are going your way. Why would you try and block a punt? As we see, arguably the most valuable defensive player for the Gophers on the ground in considerable pain. Lahan is going to come from this direction, and he's going to anticipate just a little bit too low. The problem is that if you don't block it, now watch what happens. Runs right into his leg. The official has to call that. He just does. No doubt about it. There's no act there. You know, usually you have so many punters, Steve, that have the ability to get Obies and Tonys, but in this case, I mean, he got his leg whacked, and they had to call it. Bad decision on the part of the youngster, Lahan. Tyrone Carter is up now, and I think being the tough guy that he is, he'll take a break and come back in. What do you think?
That's what everybody says about him. You know, what kind of guy? Tough guy. Tough guy.
There was a poll, right? Big Ten poll?
That's right, and the only other player, and maybe the best part about it was the players were the ones doing the voting, and you mentioned Penn State before, and he had an equivalent there.
2 guys, 2 toughest guys in the Big Ten, LeVar Arrington and that guy, Tyrone Carter.
Michigan and Michigan State are going at it. We'll step out and get the update back to Mike Leeson.
And Steve, the Spartans strike first in East Lansing. Michigan State, so Bill Burke threw 4 scoring strikes a week ago. 3-1 to Plaxico Burress. Look at this, the flea flicker. Burke goes upstairs. Plaxico Burress almost takes it, and he's dragged out at the 1-yard line. T.J. Duckett takes it in from there, and Michigan State draws first blood, 7-0 over Michigan. Steve?
If they were to come up with that win, I don't think that would be a big upset. I want to do a Michigan State game just so I can say the name Plaxico.
Let's do it. Pass is completed. And hey, a first down as Bollinger hooks up with Demetrius Brown. With Ron Dane out of the break, Eddie Faulkner was replacing him.
Of course, how's Tyrone Carter? They're trying to stretch him out here and see what the situation is.
Holly, what do you have?
He took a hit to the left lower back, right next to his hip, but a little bit more inner toward the lower back. He's trying to stretch it out right now, but he's in quite a bit of pain. He tried to jog down the sideline, and then he just collapsed to the ground, and now they're stretching him. Although he's trying to shake it off, he looks like he's in too much pain to do so at this point.
Simply go to that side. Jimmy Wyrick has replaced Carter now. Michael Bennett in the backfield, and they'll throw it to Bennett, the sophomore. Not much yardage there. On a short gain, Ben Mezzera came up to make the stop. And that'll do it. Worried about Tyrone Carter. But Minnesota is worried about him with the lead after 1.
This is big. $200 million big. Value City just bought the entire inventory of Starter. You know, the #1 brand of authentic team sports apparel. So, if you don't get it here, you just don't get it. Look at this, our biggest deal ever. You get prices so low we can't say the teams or the leagues. How's that for starters? Hey, it's your money. Get more for it.
This man has found that a 1966 Mustang is a finicky little lady. She demands love, devotion, and a 4-barrel Holly carburetor. At Advanced Auto Parts, it's our job to see that she gets the carburetor and any other hard-to-find part overnight. As for the love and devotion, well, let's just say there are some things we won't get involved with.
You know, you two lovebirds got to be over 21 if you're going to buy beers. Quit flexing. I've been doing lat pulls since noon, baby. Check out the sign. Try and buy without legal ID and you could get fined, busted, or dusted.
ID?
ID? I don't have an ID on me.
Sorry, pal.
Ouch, bro. That was hard to watch.
Don't you have to be on stage or something?
Yes. Let's meet up later. Maybe we can work out. Party at the squat rack.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Perfect alignment. Precision weighting. Solid and stable. Perfect play from a perfect cue. Show your balls a good time. Viking Q.
Available at the Pool People. Now with 4 locations.
All I do is dream of you the whole night through. With the dawn I still go on and dream of you. You're every thought, you're everything, you're every song I ever sing.
For those who must design trucks to compete with Dodge Ram, there is no rest.
All I do is dream of you.
Back at the Metrodome, Minnesota pleased to have the lead. They'd be more pleased if Tyrone Carter was on the football field, but he isn't, getting all sorts of attention. A couple of changes in the Minnesota defensive backs. Jimmy Wyrick is one of them. Lorenzo Griffin is the other. See if they can pick up the slack for the injured Carter. Bollinger will keep it himself, and he's met by a number of tacklers, including Austin Osei, and he is brought down at the 40-yard line. Take a look now at the Buick first quarter stats.
Field position played a big part in that, and you can see the rushing yards. That's surprising, because certainly everybody would have thought it would be the other way around with Wisconsin dominating. The other thing, too, is that Wisconsin, coming into this game, Steve, they had averaged 8.5 minutes more per game in time of possession. Up to this point, it's about dead even. Minnesota certainly dominated the first stanza.
Both of these clubs have been excellent on the ground coming into this game. Both averaging better than 5 yards per carry. Minnesota has today, but not Wisconsin, and Bollinger wants a timeout and wants to talk it over. And you wonder, having the freshman quarterback there, how much that has to do with taking the timeout with 14:15 left here in the second quarter.
Why are business travelers choosing Sleep Inn? The well-lit grounds, the electronic locks, the walk-in showers, complimentary breakfast. Because it's a place that understands the needs of the business traveler. It's all those things. Plus the service.
Hey, knock it off.
Is incredible. If you're traveling on business, stay at Sleep Inn, in a class by itself.
The inspiration for the new LeSabre didn't just come from a research center or design facility. It also came from your family. Introducing the all-new 2000 LeSabre, re-engineered with more safety features than any other car in its class. The new 2000 LeSabre by Buick.
It's time to face the facts, ma'am. That battery has passed on to a better place. At Advanced Auto Parts, it's our job to help this woman find a new battery at a great price. And if she can get down here, we'll install it for her free of charge. For this is the role we play. and the automotive circle of life.
Hey there, time for a holiday. So switch off your computers and take a national holiday with National Car Rental. Spend some time with National Heroes. Or visit a national treasure. Join the National Football League. Or take your kids to a national park. But wherever you go, National will get you there fast. Because with hundreds of locations nationwide, it's hard to find a place that's not a national city. Whoa! National Car Rental. What are you waiting for? Let's go!
Some of the air taken out of the dome with Minnesota having the lead because you see arguably their top player on any team, special teams, offense, defense, Tyrone Carter being helped to the locker room. On 3rd and 7 after the timeout, the play was called, and there it was. A low pass, but still dropped as they went to Nick Davis, and incomplete.
Would have been a little bit short anyway. Carter, trying to make it to the locker room, actually had to stop. This is close to the end of his walk. I mean, he has really hurt it. Take a look at the end of the play. Here's the catch. Cuts upfield. Now watch the collision right there. See, right there, it hits him right in the hip. And inevitably, Steve, I know that defensive backs, actually not many people anymore, wear hip pads. That's got to hurt.
Normally, Carter is the deep man for these punt returns. Luke Leverson, the wide receiver, will take his place. Waves for the fair catch. He really bumps into a teammate, but has it, and that's where Minnesota will start on the 22-yard line. It's a punt of 36 yards as Carter is helped to the locker room. The Minnesota defense, and they will tell you themselves that some of these numbers don't necessarily represent how good they are, but these are outstanding numbers because of the competition they've played to this point.
That's right. Up to this point, of course, those numbers have been garnered against Ohio, University of Louisiana at Monroe, Illinois State, and Northwestern. So people think that these are specialists at best. However, at least in the first quarter, they look like the real deal to me, Steve.
David Gibbs, we asked him, the defensive coordinator, about those numbers, and he said, we're simply not that good as those numbers would indicate. And he also said, quite honestly, refreshing, they haven't beaten a good football team yet. This would be a good football team that they're beating so far. Flag on the play, and there was motion. Eric Malik looked like he was moving for Wisconsin.
Steve, a good football team, but not a smart football team up to this point.
Onside, defense.
And of course, if you're going to make a mistake on the defensive, I was going to say, if you're going to make a mistake on the defensive line, you don't want the acting head coach to be your line coach. And you saw right there, Malik jumps offside, and he's taken right out of the game. Taken right out.
Put him in a 1st and 5 situation now on the 27-yard line. Option to Hamner. Some running room. He is forced out at the 33-yard line. Godorsey came over to make the stop along with Jason Doring.
Again, Jermaine Mays, the wide receiver for Minnesota, number 15, does a great job blocking downfield against Jamar Fletcher. Again, Fletcher not up in support. Mays doing a good job keeping him out, enabling Hamner to get the first down. Fletcher is a terrific cover corner. As you pointed out, 7 picks last year. He ran 3 back for touchdowns. Somebody who has a future on Sundays, I do believe.
1st and 10 at the 34 now. Hamner, again, a rolling setback. Cocker on the throw, blocked at the line of scrimmage. Somebody got their big paw up and batted it away. Malik.
I was going to say, Malik made up for it. And come on now, I got to tell you something. No more big paws, all right? No more of that. I hear that all the time. No more big paws. But here's 98 in the middle making the play. He was the guy that jumps off sides. Take a look at the point of attack. Inevitably, when you block passes, it's because you're not close to the quarterback. This is no exception. Malik is able to get up in the air and get his big hand up to bat the ball down.
Now, if you were an ex-defensive lineman, I could see why you'd be sensitive to that big paw thing.
Absolutely.
Stop in the backfield. Good defensive stop. Hamner was brought down for a loss.
Roger Knight is the guy who comes in to make the play, and this is what we had anticipated from the defense of Wisconsin, penetrating and making tackles in the backfield. Now suddenly Minnesota's in a situation where instead of 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, this is the 2nd time in a row they've had 3rd more than 10, Steve.
Cochran started 2 for 2 in the game for 45 yards. Since then he's 1 for 5 for just 2 yards. The Wisconsin defense getting on as the crowd urges him on. They'll give it to Hamner. He is well shot first down. Dorling again came up to make the stop. His 6th tackle of the game already.
Steve, you're at home saying to yourself, what are you doing? It's 3rd and 11. Try and get the first down. But the one thing that Minnesota is still doing well is playing the game of field position. Don't make a mistake. Don't take a chance at an interception or a sack. Take the 4 or 5 yards, punt it away, pin them back down in their territory. And interestingly enough, Steve, this is going to be a situation for Wisconsin in which they will get their best field position of the game. They have yet to cross midfield.
Yep. And in the field position game, we'll see how it comes back to hurt them, the running into the punter, the personal foul.
Adam Hayer, their offensive lineman, is the man who is down.
The junior from Wyoming. The starting left tackle for Minnesota.
This is an injury that you see frequently now at any level of football. Hayer is blocking a man. He doesn't know what's going on behind him. Take a look at number 74 and take a look at his legs. That's why they have the knee braces, folks. This is the reason. Hamner cuts in. The collision falls on the back of his ankle right there. And, of course, being on artificial surface, that doesn't help much either. But it looks like he's walking off the field right now pretty much under his own power, and hopefully he'll be back.
Checked out this turf yesterday. Man, this can't feel good to be knocked into this turf and driven into the ground.
It doesn't. How's that for a profound remark?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I don't think anything more has to be said. We feel your pain. The pain comes through with those words.
3 different drives Wisconsin has had yet to cross midfield. Nick Davis, a tremendous punt returner. Good opportunity to put Wisconsin in much better field position than they've had before.
Rindle's the punter away. In Minnesota. And no fair catch. Nick Davis took the chance there and was lucky and fortunate to only get 2 yards on the play after the 40-yard punt. Fred Rogers made the stop just about immediately, and we check in with Mike Gleason.
Well, Steve, Miami and Florida State. Kenny Kelly's been hearing all week about the 8 picks he's thrown so far this year. Well, check it out. Kenny Kelly, this is his 2nd scoring strike in the first half. Upstairs, Santana Moss, shades of the Ohio State game in the Kickoff Classic. This one covers 80 yards for the touchdown. And right now, the Hurricanes and Florida State are deadlocked at 14 apiece. The Noles hoping to win their 45th straight at home. Steve?
All right, Mike, thanks. You haven't missed a thing. There's motion on the offensive line for Wisconsin.
I was going to say, that's got to be pretty exciting. That's in the first quarter, not exactly a defensive slugfest. That could be another one like that Florida State-Georgia Tech game, that 41-35 tilt.
Ron Dane is back in the football game for Wisconsin after missing the last series. We imagine just for a breather.
Start. Offense. 5 yards. Still first down.
Downstairs to Holly Rowe.
Gentlemen, just before this series, the offensive line coach of Wisconsin, Jim Huber, called his O-line together and said, look, you're in the wrong spaces, you're taking the wrong steps. If you continue to play like this, I guarantee you're going to lose, especially with motion calls like the last one.
Puts him in a 1st and 15 hole. And then Clyde Dane, right side, he's got running room, gets all the yardage back and then some. Should be good for a first down. Ron Dane, his biggest carry of the game. Lorenzo Griffin, who is in place of Tyrone Carter at the strong safety, actually made that stop. Delvin Jones, the free safety, had a chance at him first.
What's frightening is right here. Now he's able to square his shoulders at 5'10" and 250 plus. It's the most frightening sight for a defensive back, is that if you don't get Ron Dane at the point of attack, supposedly he has 4.55 speed. And when you add that to 250, 260, squaring his shoulders going north and south, that is a collision.
Give it to the fullback that time on the quick hitter, Chad Kuhn's first carry of the football game.
For fullbacks, that's known as the Halley's Comet carry. You get one every 86 years, it seems like now in contemporary football.
Just to throw off the defense a bit.
That's it.
A little change up.
I guess being in the same backfield with Ron Dane reminds me of the old line about being a limited partner of George Steinbrenner, right?
Right.
There's nothing
really
more,
limited.
Nothing more limited than being a limited partner. With Ron Dane back there, you ain't going to get too many totes of the ball.
People think Brooks Bollinger has the easiest job in college football. Let's hand off to Ron Dane. And that's what he'll do there. Nice particular play. It was easy for Bollinger to give it to Dane. He's out ahead and should have another first down. And Ron Dane starting to wear and tear on that Minnesota defense. Delvin Jones brought him down.
The difference this case, though, is Delvin Jones makes the tackle some 11 yards downfield. Earlier, you know, he was at the line of scrimmage. Take a look at the collision. Jones does a nice job of dropping him. But watch the head, neck, and shoulders. Man, I tell you what, any way you look at it, and Jones gets up very slowly, that can't be very much fun to take on that body. Give Jones credit for courage.
Dane looks like he is shaken up and is now on the sideline, replaced by Eddie Faulkner. Here's Bollinger looking deep, got a man on his head. He caught it! He caught it anyway! Chris Chambers! Wow! He was tackled before he had the football and he made the grab anyway. Willie Middlebrooks all over him.
I tell you what, everybody talks all the time about focus and concentration. Those are the words you hear often. You got two guys hanging on you. It's a sure interference penalty, and he comes up with a catch.
Pick up Chambers, 40 on the play.
The very thing that we talked about, Steve, was that at some point they're going to go up deep and going to go to the post because the free safety isn't going to be there. Watch Middlebrooks just says, you know what, forget it. 15-yard penalty, just forget it. I'm going to tackle him. And he still comes up with a catch. I tell you what, that might be the best catch I've seen so far this year. Unbelievable.
Now, that's not a bad play by Middlebrooks, because if he doesn't come up with the ball.
It's a 15-yard penalty, absolutely right. He's got some savvy. And you see as he pats the ground, he's frustrated with the fact he said, look, I'm willing to give up the 15, but not 40. Wow, Chambers. And don't forget, we didn't mention this, folks, Chambers has a broken index finger. And he's still able to come up with a catch and all that. Wow, he is a playmaker.
Told you he missed a couple games. That was the reason. What a grab that was. Spectacular 40-yard gain. And now he goes back to the ground to Eddie Faulkner. And all of a sudden, the Wisconsin offensive machine is cruising down to the 5-yard line of Minnesota. Travis Graham made the stop along with Jones.
So as you pointed out earlier, the wear and tear. What's happening now, Steve, is the offensive line is able to find their way. They're being a little bit more comfortable. And as Holly Rowe pointed out, Jim Huber must have given them the talking to, as they say. Got him going.
And even with Dane on the sideline, they have a lot of players who carry the football. Eddie Faulkner, for example, has carried 36 times prior to this game. Michael Bennett, 28 times prior to him. So Dane gets all the attention, but not all the carries. And that is Faulkner right into the line of scrimmage, down to the 5-yard line. Holly, what's the latest?
Ron Dane does have a slightly injured shoulder, but he is standing on the sideline ready to go back in if they need him. The trainer keeps asking him if he's okay. He keeps shaking his head yes, and he's not taking off his helmet. He wants to be ready at this goal line situation.
There you see the numbers on Dane for the football game, but what a difference in quarters. 8 carries, 18 yards in the first quarter. In the second quarter, so far, we've got him 2 carries, 24 yards. A difference indeed. 3rd and 1 from the 5. Bollinger kept it himself and maybe picked up the 1-yard line. They do give him the first down, and it'll be a first and goal situation.
Steve, you got to be thinking, though, that he has to be hurt more than he's letting on, because they're in that situation where you got 3rd and less than 1. Who do you want in there? You want your 250-pound back. Oh, guess what? My bad. Here he comes.
Dane will come in, look to punch it in, and tie the football game up. First and goal, they spot it at the 3. Out of the eye, the give to Dane. Gets a perfect block and walks into the end zone. Touchdown for Ron Dane. And the great block was made by the fullback, Chad Coons, to set it up. Dane strolls in untouched.
Steve, it was a great block, but it shows a lot about the nifty feet of Ron Dane. Everybody thinks of it in terms of the power back. You see the penetration. Coons gets the ball right there. It's designed to go off tackle. Dane has the quickness to bounce it to the outside and take it in for 6. It's a great job by Dane showing his vision and quickness of feet, not just the fact that he's a power guy. Thanks to Coons, number 41, who's able to lay the block at the point of attack.
Fullback getting a ton of attention on the broadcast here so far in the first half as he sets that one up. Vitaly Pasetsky on to attempt the extra point. And it's up, and he's got it.
Well, Ron Dane was hurting earlier. He had the bad shoulder, but when it's time to get pay dirt, he was willing to come back in. And as a result, they tie it up.
And so another semester begins, and yes, you'll need textbooks. You and every other future leader of America. But this is college. There are no lines in college. College is for thinking. You realize E-Follett, the world's largest provider of new and used college textbooks, is standing by, just waiting to take your order and deliver it to your door. People, if you're not the lead dog, the view never changes. Get out of line. eFollett.com. New and used college textbooks.
All season long, you'll experience the excitement of the new line of 99 Sea Ray boats powered by Mercruiser. Watercraft Sales in 3 Lakes features the best of the best when it comes to boating. You'll enjoy superior quality, exceptional design, and engineering with the 99 Sea Rays powered by Mercruiser at Watercraft Sales, your exclusive Northwood Sea Ray dealer.
Experience the pride. Watercraft Sales. Watercraft.
Rib Mountain Glass celebrates 1 year in their new location. The most important key to their success has been your satisfaction. Being a locally owned and operated business, they know customer satisfaction goes a long way. One more service Rib Mountain Glass offers to their customers is with their complimentary consultations. They'll come into your home or business and custom design your own unique look. The choice is clear. So is the performance, quality, and service. Rib Mountain Glass, Wood Duck Lane, Wausau.
Well, look who's back on the football field. It's Tyrone Carter. It looks like he's saying to himself, bring it on. And he's telling everybody, well, he looks to be in fine physical condition to me.
Well, I tell you what, take a couple of those antioxidant vitamins, and boy, that helps.
Wisconsin to kick it off after the Ron Dane touchdown. And they will kick it to Carter from inside his own 5. Breaks it out across the 20. And he's got more. Stays on his feet until the 30-yard line. What a return, and what a return from injury for Tyrone Carter. Now, Wisconsin has taken the axe the last 4 games. Minnesota's last win against the Badgers got to go back to October 22nd, 1994. Tim Shea to Aaron Alsterman for a touchdown, and then Shea to Tutu Atwell for another score in that game. And Minnesota won at Camp Randall 17-14. October 22nd, 1994. That was Minnesota's last win in this series. And here they find themselves tied with the Badgers, 7-all. Steve Levy, Todd Christensen, Holly Rowe from a sold-out Metrodome here in Minneapolis. Off the play action. Here's Cockerham throwing. And complete. Got a man. No, he said no. But the ball made contact with the carpet. Was looking for Luke Leverson on the play.
Tyrone Carter came back in a grand way. I'd say that's an auspicious re-debut, as it were. The thing that Minnesota has to concern itself with here, though, okay, Tyrone Carter's healthy. Now, offensively, what can we do to duplicate that first drive? And what I don't understand, Steve, quite frankly, why aren't they going with the 4 wide receiver package and continuing to do what they did so well in that first drive? They've gone away from that since.
There's 3 wideouts here. They go opposite with Thomas Hamner, and he is buried for a loss. Big defensive play by Donnell Thompson. That drive you're referring to, Todd, was 6 plays, 86 yards, 216 in terms of time off the clock on the first drive of the game.
Donnell Thompson, the former vendor at Camp Randall. That's right. He's the guy that used to sell soda, hot dogs, popcorn when he was a little kid. A native of Madison walks on and suddenly they say, hey, guess what? You can play. Yeah, he can play. Last 2 seasons, he's been over 100 tackles. Great inside backer for the Badgers.
Now they go to the 4 wide receivers. Maybe they are paying attention to the broadcast. 3 split out to the right. Lone setback is Hamner behind Cockerham, and confusion at the line of scrimmage, and Cockerham calls timeout. And we'll step out. 7:24 to go here in the first half, and we're tied at 7.
To build the new LeSabre, we didn't just look to research numbers or test scores. We also took a good look at your family. Introducing the all-new 2000 LeSabre, re-engineered with more safety features than any other car in its class. The new 2000 LeSabre by Buick.
Everything's on sale during Furniture and Appliance Mart's Everything's on Sale sale. We've made major markdowns on every item.
seriously slashed every price, drastically discounted every top-name brand. And on top of all these radical reductions, you get 6 months same as cash. Get a twin mattress as low as $58, or a Broyhill 5-piece bedroom set, only $14.99. Absolutely everything is on sale during the Everything's on Sale sale at Furniture and Appliance Mart Superstore, Wausau and Stevens Point.
For many years, Redfield Law Offices has been helping families through some very difficult times.
People come into this office and they have problems that need immediate attention. What's going to happen to the kids? How am I going to pay my bills? I can help them achieve what they want through the legal process.
Get the legal advantage on your side.
Redfield Law Offices.
Seven all here in the second quarter. A third down and 13, and that's been the story. The last two times prior to this one, they had third and 16, third and 12, and now the third and 13, making it difficult on themselves. Cockerham under heavy pressure is buried, but he was able to release the football. Mike Eccles came up for the pressure and the hit.
And one of the things that they've been doing much better than they did in the first quarter, Steve, they rush out, they try and break contain, they can't do it because the defensive end on that side, I believe was Kalaji, refused to be blocked. He refused to be cut down, so Cochrane could not roll all the way to the right side. The result, he gets hammered from the backside. Excellent pursuit by Wisconsin's front seven.
Cockerham now 1 for his last 7 passing.
Nick Davis coming into this game, Steve, been averaging more than 16 yards per punt return. And up to this point, they've been able to contain him. This is a good opportunity for Wisconsin to set up a return.
Pretty good kick returner as well, averaging 32 yards on kick returns. The back to return this punt from Ryan Rindle. And contact with the punter again. As the ball bounces out of bounds, they say it goes out at the 17, but flag flies. Tim Roska, some contact.
Steve, you know how the adage goes. First time mistake, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. Certainly you had to learn from what had happened with Minnesota, and Tim Rosga, a senior veteran player playing on almost all the special teams, comes up the middle. He has the opportunity, but there's a point. I've blocked a couple of punts in my time. There's a point where you know you don't have a shot. Rosga evidently couldn't stop his momentum. He just absolutely hammers the punter.
15-yard penalty.
Would have been a 56-yard punt by Rindle.
Watch Rosga come up the middle right there. There's just no way you can't call that. Even at the last minute, Rosga does the thing where he pulls back his hands, you know, like when you play playground basketball. No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's too late. The official's right on top of it. No way he's not going to call that.
Rindles won't mind the punt being wiped out. Got his team the football back. First and 10. With 4 wide receivers, they give it to Thomas Hamner. Cuts inside, is across midfield.
Steve, this is what we were talking about. It's the exact same play. Simple off-tackle play with 4 wide receivers stretching people out. Remember, they ran that 3 straight times to the left side in the first drive, averaged about 7 yards a carry. This time they come up with 9.
Give him the first and 10. Ball spotted. Just shy of the 48-yard line. Actually, 2nd and 1, a short one to get that first down. Off the play action. Cockerham to throw. He's got a man. Hamner, the running back. Touchdown, Minnesota. 48 yards for the score. Cockerham to Hamner. Dan Nystrom is on to attempt the extra point. On the second and a short one, that's always a great call to go for the touchdown and go for the end zone. And it works to perfection there for the Golden Gophers. Nystrom, the extra point is good. And Minnesota up on top.
Well, here's the situation. Play action, 2nd and 1, just as you pointed out. Bart Starr made it famous in the 60s. Cochrane does it in the 90s.
voice in your head makes you feel guilty for having too much of a good thing? Yeah, we don't either. Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
Look out, motorists. Old Man Winter's out to get you.
No matter what winter throws at you, Prestone Antifreeze is how you fight back. Kick Old Man Winter in the teeth with the #1 way to fight corrosion and protect your aluminum radiator to 84 below. Get in the Prestone zone so nothing can stop you now.
A look at Thomas Hamner. The running back has more receiving yards off a big play touchdown. And Thomas Hamner from Billy Cockerham. They've given the Gophers a 14-7 lead over the Badgers here in the second quarter under 6.5 to play. First half action. And Nick Davis will return the ensuing kickoff from his goal line. He's across the 20. Flag on the play. Each team has been flagged for 2 special team penalties so far. This will be the third. Jack Brewer made the stop.
Well, the field position we had talked about with Wisconsin once again is going to be poor. It had been better up to this point. You mentioned the 32-yard average. They haven't been close to that today. Circa 1977, folks, at Brigham Young, it was called fake 48 boot. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get the play, a little bit out and up. Jason During right here, the free safety, gets caught looking in the backfield. He has to play the man. Instead, he looks in the backfield. Right there, he realizes it's too late. Cochran, to his credit, puts the ball right on the numbers. And as you pointed out, Hamner is not a one-dimensional running back. Averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. Cochran certainly pleased with himself, and justifiably so, as Hamner able to go the distance with his 3rd catch of the game, as you pointed out, for 71 yards.
I think the terminology is interesting. What are the odds that Minnesota calls that the same thing you called it back then? The same play? I don't know. Fake 48 boot? Yep. Sounds good to me. Well, try Eddie Faulkner on his first carry on the drive from the 11-yard line.
Strange here, Steve, that Faulkner would be in the game deep in your own territory. I'm thinking that you want your star to get out of there. Maybe that shoulder situation is problematic for Dane. Again, he had the touchdown run, and of course Minnesota been on the field since then. I don't know what the problem would be.
The numbers for Dane after a slow start. He has come on. He was untouched on the particular touchdown. But prior to that, he had seen plenty of contact. You mentioned the field position. It's the 4th time in 5 Wisconsin drives where they start inside their own 15. Probably pleased to only be down 7. Here's Bollinger rolling. He'll keep it. And now he's in trouble. Dropped inside the 15 by John Schleck, the right tackle, when we check in with Holly.
Guys, you're talking about it's a fullback kind of day for Wisconsin. Part of the reason is that injury to Ron Dane. It's at the base of his neck, right above his left shoulder. It's very tender. They have not taken off his pads or treated him. He can come back in and play, but you've got to think they're trying to protect him right now because he is taking a beating out there and letting their fullback get the rest of the snaps.
Here's the injury as it occurs. Watch as he drops a little bit, how he lands. See, he lands on the point of his shoulder, and having had that experience, I know that's a little bit of a stinger. But again, he can't be that banged up. He's only had 11 carries, Steve.
30 is the magic number for carries for Dane. As balls a perfect pass right in the numbers of Ahmad Merritt, and he could not hang on.
It's a Steve, it's a misnomer. Sometimes they talk about catching the ball in your hands. Watch as he delivers it. You need to cradle it if you're not going to catch in your hands. Catch in your arms, not in your chest. You can see right here, just ricochets right off the one. Bollinger's got to be frustrated because he stepped up in the pocket, did a nice job, and delivered it right on the money.
I mentioned 30 carries is the magic number. For Ron Dane, when he gets 30 carries, the Badgers are 13-1. As you mentioned, only 11 carries to this point. We'll see how much action he sees the rest of the way. Kevin Stempke is deep to punt it away. He is standing just inside his own end zone. Tyrone Carter is deep at his own 45. And this punt will bring him back even further. Fields at his 34, and will look to make the move from there. And he takes on a special teamer, takes him on head-on. Dave Retzlaff The tight end, who is playing for the injured John Sigmund, makes the special team stop on the 10-yard return. The lineman of the week is brought to you by efolet.com. For new and used college textbooks, get out of line with efolet.com. And that's Jason Eberhardt. Last week, Illinois against Indiana. He was a big part of that game with 9 tackles, 3 of them for loss. And how about 4 forced fumbles in a single game? Well deserving of that award.
Yeah, how many hurries?
Didn't have that handy. I'll look that up. Give me a second. Here's Hamner spinning away from 1 tackler, but only a pickup of 2 on the play. Eric Malik on the stop.
I think we have to give some credit here to the offensive line for Minnesota. Of course, everybody talked about coming into this game that they would be dominated by the front 7 of Wisconsin. Minnesota's offensive line up to this point has been outstanding. Hayer, Howe, Hamilton, Roth, and Rawlings have been creating some gaps for Hamner. He's well on his way to his average per game, which is right at 100 yards. He's up to 400 yards coming in this game, Steve.
Second and 7 now. Ball at the 46-yard line with the 4 wide receivers. Cochran trying to scramble away, felt the pressure, but couldn't do anything about it. Eric Malik got to him.
Good pass rush, an effective pass rush by Wisconsin. I state that not because I'm stating the obvious, but because they stay in their lanes. At the point of attack, nobody is out of their lane. Take a look at the rush. Nobody goes wild, does some goofy thing. Instead, they stay in their lanes. Cochran, of course, renowned for his mobility. Take a look right there. The pocket breaks down. He's got no place to go. And Malik is able to get the sack. Great job by the front 4 of Wisconsin.
First sack of the game for the Badgers. Hey, when we snowed, it seems like domination on the offensive line of Eastern by Minnesota. It was supposed to be the other way in favor of Wisconsin. And here's Hamner trying to break through it again. Had a hole.
Same situation, though, Steve. 3rd and long. Why take any chances? We're at midfield. We're going to play the role of field position. Up to this point, Bollinger has not been able to recreate the magic that he had last week in Columbus. So Minnesota content to make the run, move upfield, kick the ball, pin them in their own territory, take their chances as it goes. And again, that's the approach that you have to take when you're at home, because you got the crowd in your favor.
Clock continues to move with 2.5 left. Tim Rosga is back deep. He was flagged, you might recall, for running into the punter.
He must be fast as a blocker.
Ryan Rendell will punt it away, some 60 yards away from Rosga. And he'll just let it go. And they'll start. Wisconsin will start at their own 18-yard line, 1st and 10 off the punt of 32 yards. Let's take a look at what's on tap. Brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light is frost brewed to capture a cold, refreshing taste. Tap the Rockies.
Minnesota has not been to a bowl game in 11 years. This is a great opportunity this season with 7 home games. And, of course, the big one on that schedule that you see coming up, the 2 biggest, well, 2 of the 3 biggest, arguably. I'll get there. Ohio State and Purdue at home. Of course, they have to go to Penn State, but very conceivable that this team could win 6 or 7 games this year, Steve.
They've been drawing great crowds here at the Metrodome for Golden Gopher games. They expect to have around 65,000 a day. In fact, 2 of the top 4 all-time Metrodome crowds in history have been for Wisconsin-Minnesota games. We'll see if we get one of those record crowds here today. Here's Brooks Bollinger to throw on 1st and 10. He's got a man! Streaking down the sideline is Nick Davis! And he wins the race to the end zone. 81-yard touchdown pass. Nick Davis from Brooks Bollinger.
There had to be some sort of breakdown in the secondary, Steve. I think it was Jimmy Wyrick was the guy that got confused, because there's no reason for Davis to be that wide open. Jimmy Wyrick, the cornerback, was anticipating some safety help, I guess. You see that happen. There's the chuck at the line of scrimmage. Davis is there. Bollinger puts it right on the money, and there's no help. Suddenly the field position game looks strange. You don't anticipate Wisconsin to score like that, Steve, long distance.
Vitaly Posetsky to attempt the extra point, and he's got it. Davis, known for a special teams touchdown guy. He's got 4 career kick returns for touchdowns, 3 punts and a kickoff. But there, the big play, 81-yard bomb from Brooks Bollinger.
Here's Davis, and he's just going to come upfield. He's going to get the chuck at the point of attack, and what they're waiting on is the safety to go to the deep 3rd. The safety does not do that. Bollinger is able to air it out, fooled in the middle of the field, and as a result, Davis is able to go the distance. He has been a big play guy, Steve. He's not just a kick returner. 12 catches for 200 yards coming into this game, and look at the reaction of Bollinger. We pointed out that he had not had his Columbus magic thus far. That was a cue for him to deliver a big play.
And that was with Ron Dane on the sideline. You think the defense might be more keyed into the passing game with Dane off and wide open.
Well, there's really no excuse for that in terms of the mix-up. Again, I don't know if the situation with Tyrone Carter coming in and out had something to do with that, but that certainly is a major faux pas on the part of the Gophers secondary.
And Bollinger have been getting it done. 4 of 8 for 143 yards. Prior to that, he was just 3 of 7 for 62. Pumped the average way up there. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves in a tie football game.
And David Gibbs has to be especially frustrated because up to that point, Steve, you'd have to say the Minnesota defense really had been outstanding, even with the one touchdown they had given up to Dane. That play, really from his vantage point, is unconscionable.
Pasetsky to kick it off. Tyrone Carter and Tellis Redmond are back deep. And really deep is Carter in his own end zone. He'll take a knee and will bring it out 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line, and that's where they will start. Coming up, we're 2 minutes away for the National Car Rental Halftime Report. We'll have first half highlights of this one and highlights from other action around the country, including the beauty in the state of Michigan, featuring the University of Michigan and Michigan State, also Penn State, Iowa. That's all coming up on the National Car Rental Halftime Report.
Interesting psychology here, Steve, that Glenn Mason has to consider. That being the fact that, okay, it's at 2 minutes. Are they going to go into their 2-minute situation, or are they going to be content to go in at halftime with a tie?
With 4 wideouts, they'll give it to Thomas Hamner. Not much there. Pick up about 1 on the play. Ben Herbert made the stop.
Steve, if that is any indication in the fact that the wide receivers of Minnesota are not exactly getting back to the huddle with any degree of alacrity, I would think that John Palermo has, you can see him conversing right there with Cosgrove, which is this: if they run the ball here, they're probably going to call timeout to give their offense another shot at it.
Each team has used a timeout rather early in the first half. There was some confusion on both defenses. 2 timeouts remain for each. And Hamner off the right side. He'll be short. Pickup of 1 on the play.
Well, evidently Wisconsin, too, is content to go to halftime.
Rather
tied. Excuse me. Timeout on the field now.
Bring up a 3rd and 1. And Wisconsin will call timeout.
Of course, there's a situation where I'm sure Wisconsin wishes that they would have called timeout, say 3rd and 6. Instead, once again, the offensive line for Minnesota is pushing people back, creating some gaps for Hamner. Now, here's the big discussion right here, and I'm sure of it, which is, all right, do we get the first down and run the thing out, or do we take a shot here? Because as you pointed out, 2nd and short is where they got the touchdown before. Right. 3rd and short, you know, if you jam people in, say go with a 3 tight end set, then that forces the defense to do the same thing. Then play action will be that much more effective. And of course, Cosgrove at this point is saying to the people, look, we got to do what we can to see if we can stop the first down. But, you know, 3rd and 1, more than likely they're going to get it. So here's the deal. Don't get stuck. Don't get caught in play action. Don't let the people in the secondary get sucked up.
Minnesota get off to their best start since they went 5-0. That was back in '87. They actually lost that 6th game when Chip Lohmiller missed a field goal with 90 seconds left. They lost to Indiana. They played that game on Friday night as they had to move the game to accommodate Game 1 of the World Series here at the Metrodome. Minnesota Twins and the St. Louis Cardinals. And they try to get the 1, and they've got it, as Cockerham kept it himself.
There's nothing like pontificating upon all the various and sundry scenarios that could come about. Play action this, and do this, and reverse this, and, oh, quarterback sneak, okay. Oh, man. Talk about much ado about nothing, huh?
Right, planting the seeds in the other guy's head, right? There's so much for the defense to worry about in the simplest play.
Well, I want to give the illusion that this job is somewhat intellectual, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, there's no illusion at all. That is so accurate as the clock continues to run. On 1st and 10 now from the 32, and what's the Golden Gopher to do with the axe on the line here today? And they're airing out, going deep. What a catch! And it's complete to Ron Johnson. Surprising play call, pick up a 38, and that changes everything now with 34 seconds left in the half.
Well, of course, Minnesota's situation there is once they get the first down, they say, hey, you know what? Time's running out. Wisconsin's not going to have any time. Let's go up top and give it a shot. Eccles is in great coverage on Johnson, but at 6'3" and about 200 pounds, he uses his big body to get up and make the catch. His father was a former cornerback for the Pittsburgh Steelers during their Super Bowl years of 78 and 79. Here's how old I am, Steve. I played with Ron Johnson in the Senior Bowl in 1977.
He probably flattened you a couple times, too, didn't he? Did he get the best of you?
Well, now, here's the strange situation. Why would you make this call here? And I say that because, you know, the time is an issue. And a 46-yard field goal is hardly automatic by any stretch. You still have the opportunity to throw the ball, get in the middle of the field, do some other things.
Rather curious.
In answer to your question,
yes,
we were on the same side.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it was North versus South. And in fact, in that game, he was defensive player of the game. He made some extra money.
You're so sad.
Show you the... No. I'm not being sensitive. I'm just telling you.
Dan Nystrom, the field goal kicker for Minnesota. His longest field goal is 49 yards. And in fact, he got that in his first attempt. A 49-yard field goal that tied the Minnesota freshman record. This would be a 46-yard attempt from here.
Wait. Tied the Minnesota freshman record?
That's right, for kickers.
Boy, you are some kind of researcher.
I'm digging deep, brother.
Which hash was it on? Do you remember?
Left.
Okay.
I had a 50-50 shot.
As they say in golf, you the man. Still, though, in all seriousness aside, as they would say in the Poconos, here's a situation where they do need to get a little bit closer. That's nice that he could kick it from 49, but more than likely, because of the fact that he's a youngster, new to the business, you got to get him in another situation. Most kickers have that. In fact, I remember Morton Anderson has that special shoe with the laces off to the side. He takes something like $5,000 out of a European manufacturer. Really? Did exactly what you want. Well, when you make $1 million a year as a kicker, you can afford it.
Made his living, absolutely. Cockrum wide open on the bootleg left, and he is pushed out of bounds at the 13-yard line with 19 seconds left. Jason Doring finally got to him. Cockrum for 16 yards, and it was wide open for him.
You see the misdirection, but watch Alex Haas, the tight end, and what he's going to do downfield. Now he sees, now watch him turn and block. Cockrum has all this astroturf to work with. Haas does a great job of getting the defender out of the play. And as a result, they're not only able to get the big yardage, but he's able to get out of bounds, stop the clock. Now they've got a shot, Steve, to take some shots at the end zone because they do have one timeout remaining with 19 seconds left.
Yeah, forget Nystrom for now. Cockrum, you see his rushing yards for the quarterback. 4 wideouts, still spread out on the football field. Here's Cockrum, throws to the end zone. And there was some contact there, looking for Luke Leverson.
Leverson, their leading receiver, Steve, but Joey Bose had great man-for-man coverage on that. And you could see the upset John Palermo is in that situation. That's Favre, a veteran who is sucked in by the play action. You can see him wagging his head. He said, you need to be there. You can't be sucked in by the play action. He's absolutely right. That's the reason why Cockrum was able to get the big yardage.
15 seconds left. It's a 2nd and 10. Ball spotted at the 13. Here's Cockrum. Quick throw. Great grab there by Arlen Bruce, but not for much yardage. He's forced out at the 10-yard line, and the clock can continue to roll. See if they can get the timeout, and do they get it?
Here's an interesting thing. 1 second left. Steve, at the 25-yard line, Cockrum is looking over to the sidelines. What's the deal? One play, timeout? What do you think? Now, he's sitting there debating it as the clock is running down and the crowd is going crazy. He's able to get it done. This is a great job by the defender by keeping the runner in the field of play. Take a look as he drops him here. Myers drops him inbounds, so that's a good call by the official. No, the shoulder blades are on the green. You see the line judge running in, spinning his arm, saying, no, you're not out of bounds. And the result is the dilemma of the quarterback Cockrum as he looks over and says, what's the deal? Really, Steve, a veteran quarterback has to know the time situation. And right there, whether it's 1 second or 8, you got to go timeout, man.
Minnesota, what a break that is.
That
with
is.
1 second left. Very easily, by the time you say timeout, to the time the referee hears it, to the time he makes the signal,
I'm telling you what, possibly if this is in Camp Randall, the time could have run out.
Yep.
You're lucky you have the hometown
home
guy,
field
right?
advantage here. A field goal attempt of 27 yards for Dan Nystrom. He is 4 of 7 on field goals this season. The true freshman.
Don't forget, Steve, earlier on the extra point, they got a piece of it. They blocked a piece of it, but it still went through.
And it is no good. Nystrom misses from 27 yards away.
Think he's visiting with Alvarez right there?
I think he is, and I think he'll visit some more as they head to the locker room. Boy, that does look like a talking to from the head coach.
I'm wondering if that's a momentum shifter, Steve. You do so well, you go up and down the field, you're certain to get a score, then he hooks it left. It remains to be seen coming out to the second half, but that's certainly a big break for Wisconsin.
70 yards in 2 minutes and 6 seconds, and yet they have nothing to show for it as Nystrom misses from 27 yards away. It's been a good first half battle as they battle for the axe, and the battle is all tied at the half. Mike Gleason from Studio 66 after this.
Now, you need to work.
Someday, there will be no Alzheimer's. At the University of Wisconsin-Madison, we're searching for the cause. Someday, we'll treat childhood genetic diseases before a single symptom appears. And someday, chronic depression will be a thing of the past because of what we're learning today. The University of Wisconsin-Madison. It's going to be a great century.
Everything's on sale during Furniture and Appliance Mart's Everything's on Sale sale. We've made major markdowns on every item, seriously slashed every price, drastically discounted every top-name brand. And on top of all these radical reductions, you get 6 months same as cash. Get a twin mattress as low as $58, or a Broyhill 5-piece bedroom set, only $14.99. Absolutely everything is on sale during the Everything's on Sale sale at Furniture and Appliance Mart Superstore, Wausau and Stevens Point.
Save on everything, even the kitchen sink at Menards. Astercast quartzite and acrylic sinks are stain, scratch, and heat resistant for years of lasting beauty in white or almond, on sale just $179. Give your walls a soft look with a tough low sheen finish with Glidden Spread Ultra Eggshell Interior Paint. On sale $11.99 a gallon after $2 rebate. We're spreading on big savings at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Sunday, it's so nice to get away, relax and enjoy a wonderful day. Sunday, it's nice to share with friends, time and again. Sunday, enjoy Sunday, Central Wisconsin, Sunday.
So what are you waiting for? Let's go. This week's Cargill Academic Achiever is Iowa's Kevin Casper, a senior wide receiver with the Hawkeyes, with a 3.17 in his marketing major. ESPN Plus and Cargill salute Kevin Casper of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Cargill cares about education. Well, Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions try to fine-tune their act in order to make a run for the national championship. There's another team who works out in the shadows of Mount Nittany with similar dreams. The Penn State volleyball team has been a dominant power in recent years, but their goal is to move into the next millennium wearing a national crown. Penn State's volleyball team had one of the most memorable seasons in Big Ten volleyball history in 1998, finishing the year with a 35-1 overall record and a perfect 20-0 in the conference. But with heartbreaking losses in the NCAA finals in 97 and 98, the Nittany Lions won't be satisfied until they win that elusive national championship. The three seniors on the team, Bonnie Bremner, Lauren Kachamani, and Kerry Schonfeld, all of whom were selected preseason All-Big Ten, have set high goals for this year's team.
The team goals are what they are every year here at this program, and that is to win a national championship, to win Big Ten, but most importantly, to win every match we play. I think at this point we've come to have high expectations of ourselves. We expect to be at the Final Four every year. That is, I mean, that's our goal. It's our goal from beginning to end. It's what we think about when we practice. It's what we think about when we when we go to sleep at night. It's what we're shooting for every game we go out there to play. It's going to take a lot of hard work every single day in practice and in every game. It'll take winning all of the matches that we're supposed to win, which hopefully will be all of them. We have to host a regional. That always helps to win a national championship.
Head coach Russ Rose knows that while his team is talented, it's going to take more than talent to help them achieve their goals.
It's a team that needs to continue to work hard. They need to have patience. They need to trust each other. And, you know, we have to just keep playing hard. That's what every team in the country has to do if they want to achieve their goals.
At this point, we're learning how to play with each other. We're getting better every match, every practice. We're getting better at communicating. We're getting better at leading. A lot of us have to learn how to lead for the first time. And I think things are coming together. I think there's younger players, and there's 3 seniors who've, you know, been to 2 Final Fours, and I think are ready to get after it.
This year's team is going into the season focused and determined to replace their runner-up banners with one that reads National Championship. Scores and highlights next on today's National Car Rental Halftime Report.
If you're looking for a family adventure, National Car Rental knows the best place to go is the Walt Disney World Resort. You see, National gets you to all the exciting new rides and attractions fast. For a magical adventure your family will never forget. So, what are you waiting for? Let's go with National Car Rental, the official car rental company of the Walt Disney World Resort. Let's go.
Okay, this is coal. This is a fossil fuel. And this is wind power. Someday, we're going to run out of this. But wind power will be around forever. That's because it's a renewable energy resource, like using wood for fuel or solar energy. Even using daylight efficiently saves money and helps the environment. Use energy without using it up. Wisconsin Focus on Energy, a powerful vision.
Cellular One is celebrating the re-grand opening of their Rib Mountain location. Join them at all Cellular One locations for grand opening specials, including a free Ericsson digital phone, a $299 value, and double your free minutes on some of their most popular rate plans. For a limited time, you can get not 100 free minutes, but 200 free minutes for $19.95. For $29.95 a month, you get not 300, but 600 free minutes. These plans include Cellular One's expanded home coverage area and valuable features like caller ID, extended battery life, and free voicemail service. So stop in a Cellular One today and take advantage of their great grand opening specials.
Welcome back to the National Car Rental Halftime Report, brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Let's go to the Metrodome. It's tied at 14-14. The Gophers trying to go to 5-0, and that Metrodome is sold out in Minneapolis. Well, when college football rolls around, Michigan really does have a legitimate gripe, or at least their fans do, when they say every season they have to get up for Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State. Well, what about their own states, meaning Michigan State? For Spartan fans, nothing is sweeter than to stick one on the maize and blue. In the fall of 1999, it should go down as one of the memorable ones. At least the pregame hype is worthy. Both unbeaten, both coming in ranked, and Michigan State strikes first. Going deep into the bag of tricks, flea flicker. Bill Burke goes upstairs. He had 4 touchdown passes a week ago on the Big Ten Network. Here, Plaxico Burris had 3 of the 4. Almost gets in, but he's dragged out of bounds at the 1-yard line. First and goal, Michigan State. And they're threatening, and they capitalize on the big play. T.J. Duckett says no problem. He pounds his way in from a yard out. Michigan State led 7-0 at that point. And right now, as we light up the scoreboard from East Lansing, Michigan State holding on to a 3-point lead. Just 6 seconds to go before halftime. It's 13-10. One interesting note, the team that has rushed for more yards has won 29 of the last 30 meetings in this series. On the other side of the Big Ten Network today, Joe Paterno leading his Nittany Lions into Iowa City. First quarter, no score. Watch the fake. Right into the line. Then we have the end reverse. Edward Drummond, former high school running back in the Pittsburgh area. Certainly looks like one. Boy, the big play offense strikes again. This one goes untouched. 68 yards for the touchdown. Penn State on top, 7-0. Now second quarter, it's still 7-0. A surprisingly low score. And Rashard Casey drops back, fires into the end zone, but no! It's picked off by Tariq Holman. Iowa trails only 7-0 at that point. Now it's 14-0 Penn State. They scored late in the half. But keep in mind, Iowa, right here on the Big Ten Network, beaten by Michigan State 49-3 last week. It's only 14-0. Iowa gave up 5 sacks last week. And it's been 33 quarters since a Hawkeye quarterback has thrown a touchdown pass. Northwestern and Indiana. They'll kick it at 2 o'clock. The Hoosiers looking to make it 2 straight after beating Illinois in overtime. Now, Antoine Randall could become the first player ever to pass for 2,000 yards and rush for 1,000 in the same season. He has thrown and rushed for a touchdown in all 5 of Indiana games this year. 3:30 from the Horseshoe. It's Purdue and Ohio State. Joe Tiller was quick to point out that Drew Brees had 11 passes dropped last week against Michigan in the 38-12 loss. For Ohio State, well, they've given up 988 total yards in the last 2 games. Last week, John Cooper watched a 17-0 lead over Wisconsin turn into a 42-17 blowout by the Badgers. When Peter Warwick was suspended earlier this week, it wasn't exactly a surefire remedy for Miami's 2-game skid, but it may have altered the way the Hurricanes prep for their showdown in Tallahassee after being ranked as high as number 8. And now the Canes are 2-2. And, of course, Florida State trying to get it done without Peter Warwick. And Chris Winkie goes down right down the middle of Jermaine Stringer. 48 yards for the score. Now it's 7-7. Make it 14-7 after Jeff Chaney pounds his way in for 4 yards out. But now, check out Kenny Kelly. All week long, he's been hearing about the 4 picks he's thrown so far this year. Goes upstairs, Santana Moss. Pass wasn't the greatest, but Moss makes the best of it. He goes 80 yards. Shades of the Ohio State game in the Kickoff Classic. Miami had tied it up at 14. Now it's tied at 21-21. At stake today, besides the #1 ranking, is a 44-game home winning streak. As a matter of fact, the last team to beat Florida State in Tallahassee was Miami way back in 1991. Let's go over to the SEC right now. Mississippi State and Auburn. Unbeaten Bulldogs of Mississippi State, I should say. First quarter, Rob Gibson gets the call, trying to get the first touchdown. But the Tigers live up to the occasion there. They step it up. They're fighting to stay above 500. Still in the first, Wayne Madkin. Watch the protection he gets in the pocket. All day to go downtown to Kelvin Love. 47 yards, still scoreless at that point. And as we light up the scoreboard, 13th ranked Mississippi State trailing the Tigers now. It is 7-0. It's the first 5-0 start for MSU since 1944. Tough run for a bowl berth. Auburn, they need an upset against Mississippi State, Florida, or Arkansas, or they'll have to run the table in November. Maryland and Wake Forest both trying to stockpile as many W's trying to get a bowl berth. Both teams are 3-1. Pleasant surprise, and this is Lamont Jordan for the Terps. 17 yards out, just gets inside the pylon. Maryland goes up 7-0 now. Check out Ben Sankey, having a big year for Wake Forest. Lots of time, good coverage in the secondary, so he leaves the pocket, tucks it up, dives into the end zone, and ties it up at 7-7. Right now, that's where they stand. After halftime, they have moved into the third quarter now, and Wake Forest rallied to beat winless Rutgers, but they are 3-1 the first time since 1987. The 3 wins for Maryland has already equaled what they produced for the entire 98 season. Duke and Virginia, the Blue Devils have dropped 8 straight in Charlottesville, and right now it is scoreless. As a matter of fact, Virginia has won 9 of the last 10, outscoring Duke 365-130 in the process. Missouri ventured into Boulder, trying to make it 3 straight over the Buffaloes, but right now Colorado leads that one 7-zip. Now the Buffaloes had last week off to rest, but if history means anything, Colorado has lost 3 straight following a bye, but they do lead the game 7-zip. BC and Temple, it's now 14-0 Boston College. The Owls, 0-5, they've been outscored 160-39. In the Mid-American Conference, Miami of Ohio leading Bowling Green 7-0. Now Travis Prentice with 68 career touchdowns. He trails only Ricky Williams, who's #1 on the list with 75. Falcons are 6-2-1 against Miami of the 90s. And Central Michigan Buffalo, first quarter no score there. The Air Force Academy beginning defense of its Commander-in-Chief Championship today against the Naval Academy. Navy on the Air Force 4-yard line. John Vereen takes the pitch. Boy, a walk in the park. Navy goes up 7-0. They almost pushed that to 10-0, but this 44-yard field goal misses. So Navy led 7-0 at that juncture, and right now that's where they stand. Now, I mentioned the Commander-in-Chief trophy. Fisher DeBerry says he remembers winning the trophy last year, but it's missing. They can't seem to find it. And it's halftime in the Metrodome. 14 for the Badgers, 14 for the Golden Gophers.
It's time to face the facts, ma'am. That battery has passed on to a better place. At Advanced Auto Parts, it's our job to help this woman find a new battery at a great price. And if she can get down here, we'll install it for her free of charge. For this is the role we play in the automotive circle of life.
The house. You furnish
the family that fills the house.
Yes.
You furnish the future for the family that fills the house. And we'll furnish everything else you need to turn your house into your home. Value City Furniture.
There are 2 teams going out on the field today, and only one will come back a winner. But 17th hole, here's the putt. Go out there and do your best. Yes! And this is Cinderella story.
Sports can teach her how to dream.
I love you guys.
You can help her dream big.
Woohoo! Oh yeah! They're killing me.
I've been in tough spots before, and I've always gotten through them okay. Raised my family all right, and gave them a life I didn't have. So when the doctor told me I had cancer, I thought, okay then, I'll get through this too. My family insisted I go where I can get the best doctors and the newest treatments. Nice thing is, that's all right here. And right here is where I want to be for a good long time.
Biggie's has a gift just for you. A way to make a little extra for whatever you do. You want to work in a clean, fun atmosphere. You'll find it at Biggie's this time of year. You want a job that will give you a lift. What could be better than helping give a gift? Wow! Biggie's has a gift just for you.
Halftime in the Twin Cities, and the Golden Gophers and the Badgers are all even at 14 apiece. This is the most recent meeting, the first time they got together, 1890. Steve Levy, Todd Christensen, Holly Rowe will rejoin us in just a little bit. It is somewhat surprising, not the score, that it's 14-14, but how we got to this point. Add a character for these two teams.
Yeah, very strange. 2 very big passing plays for both squads. Of course, who would have anticipated coming into this game that Minnesota would have been able to run and Wisconsin would have been able to pass, but that's exactly what has happened. That's the way they've been able to get it into the end zone. First of all, you've got Minnesota. We talked about the bootleg play. Their Hamner, he gets lost. Cochran does a great job pivoting around, getting the ball in the open field, and he outruns During for the score. And, of course, on the other side of the ball, we're waiting for Bollinger to make a big play. Well, here it is. Gets the 5-step drop and airs it out to Nick Davis, who's past wiring, but Jones, the free safety, does not get over in time. As a result, Davis able to go the distance, 81 yards for the tying score.
Minnesota had a chance at the end of the first half to connect on a 27-yard field goal. Were unable to do so. So we're tied. A banged-up Ron Dane in Wisconsin, even with Minnesota, the second half next.
Want the lowdown on Dodge Durango? Here's where its best-in-class Magnum V8 power lives. It's longer and wider down here for best-in-class room up there. And say hello to best-in-class available towing. Want the best? Get a Durango. Me? I want one of these. Dodge Durango. Different.
As the new semester dawns, it dawns on you you'll need textbooks. Well, yeah, unfortunately, you are not alone. But this is college. There are no lines in college. College is for thinking. You realize E-Follett, the world's largest provider of new and used college textbooks, is standing by, just waiting to take your order and deliver it to your door. People, get out of line. eFollett.com. New and used college textbooks.
Hey there, time for a holiday. So switch off your computers and take a national holiday with National Car Rental. Spend some time with National Heroes. Or visit a national treasure. Join the National Football League. Or take your kids to a national park. But wherever you go, National will get you there fast. Because with hundreds of locations nationwide, it's hard to find a place that's not a national city. Whoa! National professional car rental. What are you waiting for? Let's go!
Meet the pride of the 21st century. Bill Taylor, city planner. Elizabeth Ann Davidson, Supreme Court Justice. The Smith triplets. Ann's a hockey coach. Amanda's a veterinarian. Allison's a poet. Dr. Matthias L. Rinchley, organizational industrial psychologist. Construction engineer and architect Van Borton-Moot. Kim Lee Swenson, award-winning journalist. The Future, brought to you by the University of Minnesota.
Back in the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in Minneapolis. Just about set for second half action. Mentioned the banged up Ron Dane. He was banged up in the first half. The first half that saw him carry the football only 11 times for 45 yards, and that was the hit that hurt him. An average of 4.1 yards per carry. He does have a touchdown in the game. As for his second half status, we check in with Holly Rowe.
Gentlemen, because this game is being watched by Barry Alvarez in his hotel room and by the coaching staff here in Minnesota, they're being unusually tight about injury information, which is very unusual for both teams. They're saying that we have to ask either the head coach, Glenn Mason, and obviously we're not going to bother him during the middle of the game. But I will tell you this, Ron Dane led his team back out onto the field. He's in full pads. He looks like he will play. And as for Glenn Mason, he says, no, this is not a moral victory that we're tied with the Badgers at this point. Our kids are playing well. They deserve to win this game. Said our only real flaw was the home run we gave up because of the mistake made by the cornerback.
All right, Holly, thanks. And again, in case you're just joining us, Wisconsin head coach Barry Alvarez is not in the building. He underwent an operation, a knee replacement operation on Tuesday. It was supposed to replace the knee, but instead found an infection and needs to have to undergo major surgery again. They do not know exactly when. We hope for an update in a couple of days and want to welcome the coach to our broadcast. He is watching from his hospital room some 90 minutes away from the Metrodome. Kickoff for the second half. A low line drive that is picked up by Nick Davis. Scooped it up at his goal line, carries out to the 20, and that's where he is dropped, and has been the case on most kickoff and kickoff returns. We've had a flag today.
So for the 5th time, Wisconsin will start inside the 15-yard line. That's very unlike Badger football. When we take a look at the first half numbers, I think one of the things that stands out, at least to me, is right here. The passing yards for Wisconsin that has kept them in the game while Ron Dane has been on the sideline. Bollinger, that is on 4 completions, by the way. 4 of 8 for 143 yards. I'm guessing that 67-yard rushing total has to move up. But give Minnesota credit, as we pointed out. Great balance on the part of the Gophers, run and pass. And certainly Hamner with 82 yards at halftime is more than likely to go over the century mark.
Bollinger is listed as the backup to Scott Kavanaugh, who has an elbow injury and missed last week's game, and gave Bollinger his first start. And Bollinger gives it to Ron Dane, who starts, as Holly predicted, on the field here in the second half. And makes the carry Austin Osai on the stop.
Good penetration right at the thighs. Dane had no place to go.
He starts the second half, much like he started the first half. The Minnesota defense really shut him down in the first quarter, and he picked up some steam in the second. But a loss on 1st and 10 brings up a 2nd and 13 with the ball spotted at the 8-yard line. Out of the shotgun. Bollinger will take off, runs right up the middle, makes one player miss, but not a second player, and gets back some of that yardage. And he'll bring up a 3rd down.
Discussion with Brian White, the offensive coordinator, and trying to contrast Bollinger with last year's starter Samuel. We asked him about it. He said that there was no contest in terms of athletic ability. Bollinger certainly shows that there, and that while Samuel was an adequate runner, Bollinger, a fast guy, supposedly 4.5 in the 40, shows his mobility coming upfield. A great savvy as a quarterback too, Steve. His father was the offensive coordinator at the University of North Dakota, so he is well steeped in football lore.
Somebody asked him the first time he touched the football. He said he was about 2 minutes old, not 2 years old. It was his dad's idea. He'll give it on a long 3rd and 1 to Ron Dane, and it looks like he has enough for the first down.
He does have enough, but it's interesting, Steve. Sometimes when a guy drops to his hand like that, they'll think it's the knee and he's down. but the officials gave him that extra movement to give him the first down. I wasn't quite sure from my vantage point, but at 5'10", he's one of those runners that can do that, get the hand down and spin and show his power.
On 1st and 10, line up out of the eye. Chad Coons, the fullback, in front of Ron Dane. And they send Rex Laff, the tight end, in motion. Bollinger to throw, and it's complete. He's got the fullback Coons, and he's got plenty of yardage. Pick up a 21 on the play. Tyrone Carter, who was banged up in the first half himself, made the stop. Well, Wisconsin, they don't like playing from behind, but they showed they were capable of doing it. Last week, Ohio State got off to a 17-0 lead, but Wisconsin came from behind. Ron Dane, 161 yards and 4 touchdowns. Wisconsin in all scored 42 unanswered points. John Cooper called it a good old-fashioned butt kicking. And it was the worst Buckeyes home loss in 32 years. And the biggest comeback in the Alvarez era for Wisconsin. They're not playing from behind right now. They're playing all even and looking to take a lead. Osai, the stop there on Ron Dane.
Something the defenses stress is something called gang tackling. They don't want the one guy to have to do it. Take a look at the number of maroon shirts that are going to be on top of Ron Dane at the conclusion of this run. He cuts to the outside. Here's the first tackle. He's slowed up. Now look at all the shirts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bam. You got to attack a guy that has that kind of ability.
We had Chicago maroon a week ago. The colors was Virginia Tech. This is just basic maroon. Is that right?
It is.
For Minnesota. Hoffman, the stop on Dane that time as they try to left side.
Darren Rattly is the man who makes the play. He sprints right for Dane and takes away the pitch man. As soon as the quarterback sees that, he knows that he's the only one that can be the runner. The inside pursuit for Minnesota was too much. Bollinger, as we pointed out, has a great deal of speed. Watch at the top and watch Rattly. He's going to run right to Dane. And so right there, Bollinger has no choice but to stay there. Schlecht at the bottom of the pile, number 93, is the one who tripped him up with the shoestring tackle.
Brings up a 3rd and 11. You see the conversions today, not where they'd like to be. They send the man in motion. 3rd and 11 from the 40. And here's Bollinger. Under pressure, had a chance to unload and did not, and he pays the price as he is dropped by John Schlecht.
That's a name that we've been calling an awful lot here, Steve. I'd anticipated that Hoffman and Rattly are the guys that are getting a lot of attention, but Schlecht is a guy who has just dominated up to this point. Take a look at number 93. He comes on a stunt from the inside, pushes his man out of the way, and is able to get right in the face of Bollinger. Schlecht having a tremendous day.
The transfer from Division II, St. Cloud State. Now he has 10 sacks career, and that's only 5 games into his 2nd season with the Golden Gophers. Low snap is picked up. And it's back for Tyrone Carter. And not much of a return. Stemke's punt goes for 48 yards. The return for Carter is just 4, as Michael Bennett made the stop, keeping us tied.
The 2000 BMW Z3 Roadster. This is as fun as it gets. Visit your local BMW center for a test drive.
We mill wheat into flour. Process and refine oilseeds in Mexico. Produce sweeteners from corn in the U.S., Brazil, and Europe.
You see this?
And operate 19 meat processing facilities in North America.
Yep. And look what they did with it.
Where these days, there's some good news for everyone. Cargill. It's not just what we do, it's how we do it.
This man here has just heard a funny noise. Not ha-ha funny, but click-click funny. Now, he thinks he knows what's wrong, but he's not sure. It's our job at Advanced Auto Parts to help him figure out what's wrong, to get him the parts he needs, and to turn that frown upside down.
If you're looking for a family adventure, National Car Rental knows the best place to go is the Walt Disney World Resort. You see, National gets you to all the exciting new rides and attractions fast. For a magical adventure your family will never forget. So, what are you waiting for? Let's go with National Car Rental, the official car rental company of the Walt Disney World Resort. Let's go.
David Gibbs, defensive coordinator from Minnesota, has done an outstanding job up to this point. Barely over 200 yards total offense for Wisconsin.
Completed pass to Alex Haas on the play. Jason Doring the stop.
When we visited with David Gibbs yesterday, it was interesting. This had to be the most pessimistic man in the room, Steve. Oh, Dave's great, and he's this. And it reminds you a little bit, he's learning early on. Of course, his father, Alex, was the offensive line coach for the Denver Broncos. He's learned early on how to do that poor mouth thing that Lee Holtz was expert at. Oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. And look at him playing tough, even up with Wisconsin, one of the most physical teams in the nation.
The only true optimistic thing he said is at times we will need 3 turnovers to win a football game. This is not one of them, which is optimistic. And to this point, we have yet to have a turnover as Hamner goes right into the middle of the line. Malik the stop.
Well, the other thing that he didn't lie about is that he said, now, but he did say this. He said, now, this is going to be a good game now. Don't kid yourself. He said, this will be a good game. Tyrone Carter, good to see him back, healthy and returning. That's amazing. Amazing. 5'9", 184. He can hit the way he hits and tackles the way he tackles.
Gibbs just gushes over him, really, and a lot of his other Florida kids. And again, timeout called. Cockerum didn't like what he saw at the line of scrimmage. And they burn a timeout with 9:20 to play in the third in the tie game.
Hey, Michael, John here. I'm hanging out having a beer. How come you don't come down?
Man, I'm doing the same thing as you. Why don't you come over here? I mean, the Miller Lite is ice cold and so smooth.
Oh, come on, man. From where I'm sitting, the Miller Lite tastes great.
Yeah, but the women are prettier over here. Trust me on this.
I find that very hard to believe.
And you guys call yourselves detectives.
Miller Lite. Taste the true Pilsner.
You know, we're kind of off duty right now. You know.
Hi.
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 Packer fans, it's time to talk football. Not just football, Packer football. With Inside 1265, the Ray Road Show. Hear about the team you love from the person who knows them best. The latest on players, other teams, plus much more. And go ahead, ask the coach your very own question. It's the lowdown on the fact from someone who can tell it like it is. Inside 1265, the Ray Road Show.
Saturday at 10:35 on News Channel 7.
Back at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Tied at 14. Paul Bunyan's axe on the line. And so much more. On 2nd and 8 from the 36. Cockerum. Wide open. Thomas Hamner with plenty of running room before he is bowled out on the Wisconsin side of the 50-yard line by Dan Lisowski. Pick up a 16.
And a great play by the wide receiver, Spencer Detman, because what he's going to do is he's going to come in motion. He's going to pick off the linebacker that enables Hamner to get to the outside. Watch number 83. He's going to come in, gets him right there. Thompson's the one that has him in coverage. Detman gets him out of the play. Extra yardage is the result of the wide receiver picking off Donnell Thompson.
First down and 10 from the 48. 4 wides. Hamner the lone step back behind Cockerum. Calling signals and drops back. Looks to run immediately. And he was taken down by Chris Gadorzi.
Steve, they had the quarterback draw on. That's why it was a planned play. He takes the 2 steps back and he's gone. But once again, Wisconsin doing a good job being in their pass rush lanes. Tackle him for a loss or right back to the line of scrimmage. Take a look. Godorsey at the top is on the blitz. He's spying, and right then he knows that Cockrum's got no place to go.
Godorsey only missed one game last season, and it was the only game Wisconsin lost. That was the game against Penn State. He was a winner every time he stepped on the football field a season ago. 8.5 left here in the third. Here's Cockrum. Look to throw and pulled it under to try to make something out of nothing. And again, it's Godorsey on the stop. Bring it back to the original line of scrimmage.
Jamar Fletcher is the one that makes this play, Steve. He has Leverson in coverage, and that's where he's going. Jamar Fletcher is going to jump the motion man right here. He is not fooled by the in-and-out move. Cockrum's looking right at him. Jamar Fletcher jumps it. He's got no place to go. That's where he was going to throw. He has to cut upfield. Great downfield coverage on the part of number 2. Arguably one of the 2 or 3 best cover corners in the nation, Steve.
Brings up a 3rd and 10. He'll look to cover here. With the ball spotted at the 48. 3 wide receivers for Cockrum. Under heavy pressure, gets rid of it. Tried to hit Leverson. It was batted away. That ball was well in the way and on the air before Leverson ever turned around. Jamar Fletcher again right there on the coverage.
I was surprised that that ball was even able to get in there because of the coverage of Fletcher. Look at the courage of Cockrum just hanging in there. White shirts everywhere as he gets whacked. Delivers the ball on the money. Look at Fletcher all over him. Leverson right there. That's a catchable ball. He's got to come up with that. That hit him in the shoulder. Leverson with 60 catches last season. Certainly needed to come up with that one. Very catchable.
Rindles to punt it away. He's been rather busy. Skies it in the air. Nick Davis is back for it. Will let it go.
He would always hammer.
Minnesota could not down it.
Rattly had a chance to be a hero again and down it, but oh no.
A 48-yard punt, and Wisconsin will start 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Holly, what do you have?
Gentlemen, it's kind of the philosophy of Wisconsin to have a very steady yet boring offense. Their philosophy is pound it in the first half and wear people down. That worked last week against Ohio State when they stormed back to win that game after being down 17-0. But it's not working so far here today. Minnesota has been very resilient on defense. There's a certain energy here in this crowd. Tons of Gopher fans on their feet cheering the defense on every time they're on the field, and it seems to be working.
They give it to Ron Dane. Rips off a chunk of yardage there. They start this drive at the 20-yard line. That's the 2nd best start they've had in terms of field position of their 8 drives on the afternoon.
Steve, take a look at the pad at the back of the neck there. You know, in the old days, you saw the linebackers and fullbacks with those neck rolls. The stinger that Dane had in his shoulder and back as a result, he's got that now as protection. And let me tell you, as a player, for some reason, that can give you a little bit of confidence, you know, to feel like, okay, I'm taken care of, even though it may be an absolute placebo.
Phil Villapiano had one of those, right? Did he wear one of those all the time?
You bet. Gerald Irons, a lot of those guys did.
Brian Cox, George Webster. The more modern players for some of the teammates. Here's Dane again. Put that one right in there as Dane slipped out for yardage and the first down. Mike Gleason, an update from Studio 66.
Well, Steve, the Iowa Hawkeyes are really hanging tough against the number 2 team in all of the country. 14-7. Here's Randy Reiners. Remember last week Iowa got beat 49-3 right here on the Big Ten Network. This is Rob Tyne, a former tailback in high school. Rumbles in 40 yards out. Hawkeyes now within a touchdown. It's 14-7. Let's go back to Steve and Todd at the Metrodome.
Mike, thank you. Keep us posted. Mike Gleason back in Studio 66. 1st and 10 now for Wisconsin. Ball to 35 out of the eye. Bollinger, how about double play action? Takes to both backs and he'll throw. And he's got a man a bit too far looking for Chris Chambers. And you see the 3 maroon jerseys around the 1 white jersey.
Middlebrook's good coverage on the play is not fooled to the post. The run distribution for Wisconsin has been interesting. They keep pounding at the middle of the field, but not with great results. You can see right there, 18 carries for 29 yards. You can do the math. That's less than 2 yards per carry. Whereas they cut to the outside, things are doing a little bit better. So give credit once again to the front 7 of Minnesota for holding up under the pressure of a very physical Wisconsin team.
2nd and 10 off the incomplete pass. They'll give it to Ron Dane. And they gang tackle on that play. Delvin Jones, the first man to hit him.
Delvin Jones has made some great plays, some great tackles at the point of attack. And, of course, Delvin Jones is the one that made the tackle that had Dane hurt himself on his shoulder. But in one situation which he wishes he had back, and that's that 81-yard touchdown throw where he didn't get back to the deep third, or maybe it was a situation where Wyatt's supposed to be with him, I don't know, man for man. Once again, you can see the hand struggling a little bit. Maybe dislocated a finger or something. You look on that wristband, usually he has written down his daughter's name, Jada.
Ron Dane trying to fight through it on a 3rd and 6. Bollinger with pressure from the backside, lofts it up in the air, but not enough loft to allow Nick Davis to run under that one like he did the earlier 81-yard score when those two hooked up.
And at the end of the play, Steve, you can see Wyrick wagging his head saying, no, not this time. This time I've got the coverage instead of the chuck and wait. You know, whoever had made that mistake, I'm still not sure. But there he redeemed himself a little bit, felt good about running with Davis stride for stride.
Wisconsin has owned the second half to this point, outscoring the opposition 84-23. But here, with 5.5 to play in the third quarter, they're still looking for their first point. And a low snap again. They've had some problems with that. Tyrone Carter will let it bounce, and at this time it takes a Wisconsin bounce. And it'll be down at the Minnesota 12-yard line. A punt of 45 yards for Kevin Stemke. Will step out, tied at 14.
They're the best-selling minivans in the world. The most innovative ever. The most imitated. The most trusted. The most versatile. Dodge Caravan. It's not only the yardstick, it's the ruler. Starting at $18,775.
So what you're saying is you can't change your oil every 3,000 miles because you're too busy. So you push it. Just like your cheap brother-in-law at one of those all-you-can-eats. Hey, it's your car. You want to learn the hard way? Be my guest. This is reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. You ought to change your oil on time, but if you can't, can you say insurance? Quaker State. It's been tested. It works. What more do you need to know?
And so another college semester begins, and you and everyone else who's wet behind the ears will line up for textbooks. Hey, this isn't the kiddie pool. This is college. College is for thinking. And eFollett.com, the world's largest provider of new and used textbooks, is standing by, just waiting to take your order and deliver it to your door. People, if you want to make a splash, get out of line. eFollett.com, new and used college textbooks.
David Gibbs, the defensive coordinator. Look how animated he is. At 31 years of age, certainly one of the youngest coordinators in college football. He is fired up. And I tell you what, as a player, you like that. I know it may look a little bit overdone, but you like it. Trust me.
He is great with us as well, refreshingly honest. Nice to hear a coach who doesn't use coach speak. That pass screen after the right goes incomplete. Cockerham looking to hook up with Hamner.
Hamner has been the main man catching the ball and running the ball. Found it interesting that when we were talking with the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin yesterday, Kevin Cosgrove, I asked him about Hamner, and he said, seems like he's been here forever. and certainly he has. 4-year starter. He's been a thorn on a lot of people's sides.
Bud Mason said he likes to see players leave college early because they're never his players. He never has those kind of guys. And they always stay for 4 years. As Hamner will try that, he said he would make a point out of going down to see Ron Dane today and saying, hey, you should have left college early. Could have helped us all out.
Well, if you're coming into this game, Steve, if you would have told me that Thomas Hamner was going to outrush Ron Dane, somebody would have asked you what you were smoking. The reality is that Ron Dane only has 62 yards, whereas Hamner is closing in on 100.
We mentioned the magic numbers for Wisconsin. When Dane rushes for 30 times, gets 100 yards, they're 22-5. When Dane's held under 100 yards, they're 6-7, Wisconsin. Long pass is complete. Was he in bounds? They say no. No catch. Very close play at the sideline. Luke Leverson tried to stay in bounds. Bobby Myers had the coverage with him step for step.
Bobby Myers, a free safety, once again in coverage. Not used to that as a free safety, being man for man with the wide receiver. Cochran has a great throw. You see a little bit of the frustration on his face. He did a nice job, but Leverson couldn't keep his feet on the turf.
Cockerham has had 2 consecutive career best games. Against Illinois State a couple of weeks ago, passed for 218 yards. Last week against Northwestern, passed for 222 yards. Could he have a 3rd consecutive career best game? Here he is looking to throw. And airing out, got a man. It's off the fingertips of Ron Johnson. But again, excellent coverage. Step for step with him was Jamar Fletcher.
And what Jamar Fletcher did, which was very good there, is he jostles with Johnson, and then at the last minute, he looks back, so he's not going to get interference. Watch number 20, watch number 2. With him right, stripe for strike. Now watch, right at the last minute, they're battling. He looks. Now that is a catchable ball, and I'm sure Ron Johnson would say maybe he should have come up with that one. But Fletcher in the hand battle is able to look back and negate any possibility of a flag dropping.
Brings up a 3rd and 10. This is the 6th time Minnesota has 3rd and 10 or more. They're 0 for 5. Will it be 0 for 6? Here's Hamner. Gets some of the yardage back, but it looks like he'll be short of the 1st down.
Good block upfield by Jermaine Mays, but Doring is able to drop him just a little bit short. Good call, too. Letting the pass rush get in his face. You know, Cochran's got to feel frustrated on that drive, Steve. Those are 2 really well-thrown balls, long balls. And, of course, the grief that Cochran has taken is, well, you're a pretty good athlete and you run well, but you're not terribly accurate. That's going to be frustrating when you put 2 balls like that and you come up empty.
Nick Davis is back deep to return the punt from Ryan Rindle. Glenn Mason said of Rindle, he's our most improved player on the team. How many head coaches would say that about their punter? Well, that's how good Rindle has been, as that one bounces out of bounds, and Wisconsin will operate on 1st and 10 from their own 15. It's a 48-yard punt. To get inside the huddle of your favorite Big Ten team, go online at www.big10.org for all the football and conference news from around the Big Ten. And we certainly hope you're enjoying this Big Ten clash, the longest running rivalry in all of major college football. The 109th meeting between these two. The series started back in 1890. Minnesota won that first game, by the way, 63-0. But Wisconsin has taken the last 4 meetings and we're deadlocked here. As Ballinger's on the move, and looks like he has enough for a 1st down. Willie Middlebrooks needed the 10 yards to come up and make the stop.
The present-day quarterback at the collegiate level, Steve, is no longer the static drop-back guy. Watch when he comes out here on the boot and he looks to the middle of the field. He sees right here, well, I'm gone. No, I'm not waiting. I'm gone. And to have the ability to tuck the ball underneath and run up the field is one of those situations where it's almost a prerequisite now to success as a quarterback at the major college level. Ballinger certainly has it.
I don't think you can question how cool or calm this freshman is, or the way he played his first start a week ago at Ohio State and rallied them back from a 17-0 deficit. This time they tried Dane and nothing doing. Schlecht on the stop for Minnesota.
Michael's in as well. He looks a little bit stiff. One of the things you do have to do is get him at the point of attack. Don't let him get going. But I just noticed a little hesitation, Steve, on the part of Dane. And certainly when you have a stinger like that in your shoulder and your back, that does get in the way.
4 out of the 5 games this season, Ron Dane has outrushed the opposing entire team, let alone the other team's starting tailback.
And besides the starting tailback, when you make these guys get out of carries, look at the other starting tailback.
We've seen plenty of fullback action today. Dane again, and he is stopped by Sean Hoffman. Again, I'm just going to say everybody keys on Dane, but Minnesota seems to be effective doing it.
Well, the lead blocks were not effective here. Take a look at Sean Hoffman. As he's able to shake through, he doesn't even have to deal with the lead blocker. You see the guy gets cut off there, and he's able to knife through and drop Dane for a loss. Coming into this game, Minnesota had a number of tackles for losses because they are the attack-type defense. Up to this point, they've been very lucky, with the exception of except for the one big play, the 181-yarder.
Ballinger will keep it. Not much there for him. Tyrone Carter, the best tackler among the DBs maybe in the country, made that sure-handed tackle. It'll bring up a 4th down.
David Gibbs now playing the role of traffic cop, cheerleader, as well as defensive coordinator. Certainly a questionable call there, 13, Steve. But again, I think it's getting into a situation here with 125 remaining that it's a team that's looking at a situation where they do not want to make a mistake. They're not taking anything risky here.
Kevin Stempke to punt it away. Carter is the deep man for Minnesota. Really scraping the roof here at the Metro. It's fumbled by Carter, loose ball, but he looks like he recovers. Although Wisconsin is saying they have the football.
Well, Bennett's trying to take it away from him at the bottom of the pile. The official says no, though.
It'll go for a 44-yard punt by Stempke, and Minnesota does retain possession. We have yet to have a turnover in this football game. We nearly had one there.
Carter opting for the fair catch right at the last minute. He has room, no big deal. Now it pops out. Now right here he just needs to fall on it instead of try and pick it up. There he falls on it. There's the ball. It's loose. Bennett nice in there. You can see at the bottom of the pile. Right there you can see the ball. See that? Both guys have it on top, but the official says nope. Carter had it, and Bennett's best efforts to wrest it away.
Cochran becomes change in the play at the line of scrimmage on 1st and 10 for the 23, and the change, if it was a change, they give it to Hamner, and he bangs out for a few yards.
That puts him over the 100-yard mark, Steve, and I don't understand why they just don't have a steady diet of that. It's been very effective, going to the 4-wide situation, going with the spread and getting him the ball.
Final 40 seconds of quarter number 3. Did you say over the 100-yard mark? Exactly. 101, baby, right on the money as usual. TC. 2nd and 4 from the 29. Man in motion. Off the play action. Cochran rolling to his right, under pressure, will throw it away.
Wisconsin had everybody where they were supposed to be. Excellent play action, trying to fool people, but instead Wisconsin stays at home. The coverage is outstanding. That's all Cochran could do was throw the ball away.
Wendell Bryant had the good pressure along with Donnell Thompson.
Interestingly, Wendell Bryant is a name we haven't called very often today, Steve. Minnesota doing a good job of negating him. Coming into this game, he had 6 tackles for loss and 6 sacks, rather. Their leading penetrator, but he has not done anything of consequence up to this point. Remember, he was the guy that had the big Rose Bowl tackle on Cade McNown at the very end of the play to win the game for him.
On a 3rd and 4. Lost it up in the air. It's a great grab. Will it count? It will. It's a completed catch. At the 45-yard line, Jermaine Mays tightroping down the sideline for 26.
Well, up to this point, Jermaine Mays' major contribution had been as a blocker. And don't forget, it's only the 1 foot in college football. He did have that 1 foot down. Once again, a terrific throw by Cochran. Those people that talk about his inconsistency, certainly, for instance, I believe it was the Illinois State game, he actually had to bench him because he was playing so poorly. But I like the way he's been throwing the ball, at least today, Steve.
Came in 31st in the nation in total offense, the Minnesota quarterback, on 1st and 10 from the 44. Final 10 seconds of the 3rd quarter, and it's Hamner trying to break it. He's down to the 15 before Eccles finally made the stop on him. And for Hamner, it's a pickup of 20 yards on the play.
Here's a situation to where he fakes the reverse, and once again, Hamner comes up top. Everybody's anticipating the reverse to the wide receiver, Bruce, but instead, Hamner comes up the middle. Big gain for Minnesota, and momentum heading to the end of the quarter.
And the quarter comes to an end, and what a way for Thomas Hamner in Minnesota. Should be a thrilling 4th quarter. They're on their feet at the sold-out Metrodome. The action much more on the line as we hit the 4th.
The new BMW 3 Series Coupe.
Look out, motorists. Old man Winter's out to get you.
No matter what winter throws at you, Prestone Antifreeze is how you fight back. Keep cold man winner in that team with the #1 way to fight corrosion and protect your aluminum radiator to 84 below. Get in the Prestone zone so nothing can stop you now.
The new BMW 3 Series Coupe.
Rib Mountain Glass celebrates 1 year in their new location. The most important key to their success has been your satisfaction. Being a locally owned and operated business, they know customer satisfaction goes a long way. One more service Rib Mountain Glass offers to their customers is with their complimentary consultations. They'll come into your home or business and custom design your own unique look. The choice is clear. So is the performance, quality, and service. Rib Mountain Glass, Wood Duck Lane, Wausau.
Folks, are you still buying chicken sandwiches from those burger boys? Why? Some of them boys grill their chicken dry as an old shoe. My new tender roast sandwich is deep marinated so it's full of flavor, slow roasted so it's tender and juicy. Try my new tender roast sandwich. Right now it's just $1.99. $1.99? I could do that. I'm the colonel. At KFC, we do chicken right, in the bucket and now on a bun.
I've always been set in my ways, so when Subaru told me they were changing my Outback, I was a tad concerned. Truth is, they just made it better. This next generation Outback's got a stylish new body, quieter ride, and their best all-wheel driving system ever. Sort of inspired me to make a few changes. I think this works. The new Outback.
See the complete line of the all-new 2000 Subarus at Dave Caston Motors.
Along with Todd Christensen and Holly Rowe, Steve Levy from the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Wisconsin, Minnesota, tied at 14 as we open up the fourth quarter, and we do so with Minnesota in excellent scoring range inside the red zone. Here's Holly.
Guys, the mood right now on the Minnesota sideline is one of believing. The guys keep running up and down the sideline yelling, "We're a team, we're a team." That's what Glenn Mason has been preaching to them. He says, if you went down the line like you used to do in grade school and picked guys, almost every time you'd pick a Badger for that position because they're much more talented. He said, but on any given day, a team can win a game. He's hoping today is their given day, and right now, his kids are believing.
He said, Holly, that is the single biggest difference from a year ago. The attitude that last year they didn't believe they were going to win. This year they feel like they're winning.
Now, if they were north of the border, they wouldn't be a team, they'd be a club. That's right. Yes, they would. Club day football.
Here's Cockerham. Fakes the throw to try to buy him some space, and it didn't work. He is rocketed down at the 20. Here's Mike Gleason. Mike?
Well, Steve, an update on that Penn State-Iowa game. A few minutes ago, we told you that Iowa had drawn within a touchdown of the #2 team in the country. Well, Eric McCoo breaks off tackle. He goes 47 yards. He didn't start the game because he missed a class or two. So I suppose he said, hey, I better get it in gear. He goes 47 yards, 21-7, but now Iowa is threatening. Steve, back to you.
Relationship to Marilyn McCoo. Remember the lead singer of the Fifth Dimension?
I do.
Yeah?
What was the big song she did?
Aquarius.
There was another big song. She did a duet. Pass out to Hamner as he is knocked out of bounds.
Back-to-back great plays by the safeties, Myers and Doring, and now that sets up a 37-yard field goal for the youngster. After having missed that other short chip shot, now he's 50%, and Glenn Mason can't feel all that secure that Nystrom at this point is just going to hammer this one through.
The freshman kicker did miss from 27 prior to the half. Again, put him up 17-14.
Steve, I was going to say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but from the left hash is what is preferred by the soccer-style kicker because of the natural hook, as opposed to the right where you compensate and oftentimes hook as he did last time.
He missed from 27. This one from 37. And it's up. And it is true. He gets this one, Nystrom does. And with 12:51 to play here in the fourth quarter at the Metrodome, Minnesota has opened up a 17-14 lead. Ron Dane in Wisconsin will try to come back and do it from behind.
This dog can't tell the difference between a radiator hose and a bone. Other dogs, perhaps, but not this one. That's why at Advanced Auto Parts, it's our job to carry over 1 million parts. So we'll always have the parts you need, just in case you run into this dog, or one like him.
Why are business travelers choosing Sleep Inn? The well-lit grounds, the electronic locks, the walk-in showers, complimentary breakfast. Because it's a place that understands the needs of the business traveler. It's all those things. Plus the service.
Hey, knock it off.
Is incredible. If you're traveling on business, stay at Sleep Inn, in a class by itself.
It's the beat of a different drummer. Dodge Intrepid. Well-equipped 19950.
Relaxing, fun, family. Fun with the family. Whatever way you look at it, you're going to get it. With Watercraft sales in 3 Lakes. New line of 4-stroke Honda-powered Bennington pontoon boats. Plush upholstery. Designer styling. Fun and relaxation. Put a quiet Honda 4-stroke outboard on your new Bennington pontoon. And you'll know what pleasure boating is all about. Watercraft sales in 3 Lakes. Your Northwoods exclusive Bennington dealer.
Experience the pride. Watercraft sales. Watercraft.
Back in Minnesota, might this be a different type of kickoff? We have a different guy kicking off. Mike Albert had been doing the kicking off. Preston Greening, however, will kick off this time for Minnesota with Nick Davis and Michael Bennett deep for Wisconsin. Looks like your traditional kick to me, except that it's short to Nick Davis. Davis will try to make something out of it, and he gets out to about the 23-yard line before Jack Brewer brought him down. Wisconsin has won 4 consecutive games against Minnesota. That streak all started November 11th, 1995. Darrell Bevel to Simmons for a 62-yard score. Wisconsin had the early lead. But here come the Golden Gophers. Corey Sauter to Brian Hubbard for 63 yards and the touchdown. Minnesota up 17-13, and Aaron Stecker on the ensuing kickoff, 100 yards. And Wisconsin would go on to take the axe, beat Minnesota 34-27, and they have had the axe ever since. Ron Dane stuffed at the line by Willie Middlebrooks.
Steve, interesting statistic at this point. 9 times Wisconsin has started a drive inside their 15. Their best field position of the day has been their own 24-yard line. So even though they have 8 minutes more in time of possession than Minnesota, it really hasn't mattered. There you get a chance to see if the average field position per half, and Wisconsin has just been atrocious throughout the game.
Eddie Faulkner checks in for Ron Dane in the Wisconsin backfield, the lone back behind Brooks Bollinger. Bollinger, the throw is complete to Demetrius Brown. Not much yardage on the play. It'll bring up a 3rd down situation.
He lost his footing, needed to cut upfield to get the first because the way they're running the ball at this point, and of course, that's arguably the most surprising aspect of this game is Wisconsin's inability to generate their normal running game.
And the pressure really falls on the shoulders of the quarterback then. We joke, you know, what an easy job. Hey, all you have to do is turn around and hand it to Ron Dane. Well, it's been more difficult than that today. Again, Faulkner in behind Bollinger. A long 3rd and 2. Completed pass and the 1st down. Back to Nick Davis.
A little bit of a surprise. He comes back on the hitch route, and the ball was there quicker than he thought. It's almost like one of those self-defense catches. Number 22 is a guy who, as we pointed out, makes most of his big plays in the kicking game. But this is really a big play. Otherwise, the crowd gets back into the game. He's on his knees. Look at this. Big surprise. And he comes up with it, cradles it. Good job by number 22 concentrating, knowing that he has enough for the 1st down.
Ball spotted at the 36-yard line. 2 backs now. And Faulkner remains in. Back behind Chad Kuhn. Here's Bollinger. To throw, lost it nicely up in the air. There was contact and there's a flag. the intended receiver. Willie Middlebrooks the coverage and the penalty.
Middlebrooks was all over him. Again, a situation where they've got him isolated. That's the second time he's had a costly penalty. But again, 15 yards versus the distance of the play, Steve. Chambers has him beat. You're going to see that Chambers has a step on him, and this ball is well thrown. Watch it the last minute. Just tugs onto his arm, doesn't look back, pins his arms back. That's a no-brainer call. There he's got the right arm. Now he comes in against the left. Not a big decision.
Defense. 15 yards.
Only the second flag against the Minnesota defense today, both for pass interference. Brings up a 1st and 10 after the penalty. Ball spotted on the 49-yard line. On the Minnesota side of the field.
Well, last week certainly had to do a lot for Bollinger's confidence, Steve. But if he were to come back, bring this team from behind in this game, in this situation, without Rondé, his confidence would be soaring as Faulkner is dropped for a loss.
Tyrone Carter came up to make that stop.
Coming into this game, Steve, you talk about the competition. Ohio, Illinois State, University of Louisiana at Monroe, all of those teams, and of course last week against Northwestern. Minnesota coming into this game, Steve, had not given up a point in the 4th quarter. If they're able to continue that today, this would be a monumental upset.
Talk about the difference in the schedule so far. Wisconsin played Ohio State, Minnesota played Ohio. That pass hit the ground. Incomplete. We check in with Mike Leeson, Studio 66.
Well, Steve, Bill Burke, the Michigan State quarterback, is starting to really warm up against Michigan. Burke had 4 scoring strikes last week, as we mentioned. Here he drops back and finds Gary Scott. Now, this will make it 20-10 Michigan State. He's just hit Plaxico Burress. So right now it's 27-10 Michigan State over Michigan. 2:52 to go in the 3rd. Steve?
Mike, thank you. That game is always a big deal. Even bigger now with both nationally ranked.
Coming into this game, Steve, Wisconsin was outstanding on 3rd down, 51%. Today, they're only 1 of 7.
3rd and 10. Here's Bollinger. Flag already on the play. Allowed to continue, and eventually he's dropped. Had a lot of time there. Darren Russ brought him down.
Well, usually from the side, it's either motion or offsides. And certainly that's one that they're going to refuse, to force a 4th down at midfield. David Gibbs more than a little animated at this point.
Illegal procedure. Offense. 6 men on the line. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
You know what, Steve? One of the things that he mentioned, too, is he says our kids are going to have to play well over their heads. So I tell you what, for 3 quarters, a little more than 5 minutes, that's exactly what's happened.
Leverson is deep.
Minnesota only had 10 men on the field, Steve.
Fair catch. He wants off Simpson's punt. And he gets it, a punt of 37. 9:40 left here in the 4th. Minnesota by 3.
You know, Patty, I'm convinced men prefer blondes. And what type of men would this be, Daisy? The same type that prefer Miller Lite because it's so smooth. Oh, those? Well, the ones with great taste love Miller Lite because it tastes great. And by the way, prefer brunettes. Oh, if they prefer brunettes, why do they drink a beer that's smooth and blonde? Because it's a natural blonde.
Miller Lite. Taste the true Pilsner.
Yeah, like men care.
Get more door for the money at Menards. This Mastercraft Storm and Screen Door by Larson comes in 2 styles with a lifetime warranty, with glass that opens at both the top and bottom and magnetic weather stripping. On sale, $139. Menards' entire selection of Yale lock sets is on sale. Tulip or ball entry locks are just $9.99. Matching entry sets with deadbolt, $19.99. Lock up big savings at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
I'd like you to hear what our customer patients have to say about us.
The staff at American Home Patient really seem to treat us as staff people and our residents as family members. they show much care for us and for our residents, and we really appreciate that.
Our professional staff is waiting to help you. Call or visit an American Home Patient store today. We'll treat you like family.
Might have been somewhat surprising that Luke Leverson was back to return that punt. Tyrone Carter been doing it all game, Todd.
Well, Tyrone Carter, you saw the fumble last time, and of course he's been banged up. At this point with the lead, they don't want to make any mistakes. They want their best-handed guy back there to catch the punts. That's Leverson.
And Leverson is on the field at his normal wide receiver position. And they send Ron Johnson, the other wide out in motion, and give it to Thomas Hamner. Hamner broke it out. Most important thing, stay in bounds for Minnesota and start working that clock. Jason Doring finally got to him.
Steve, coming into this game, one of the more interesting statistics is the fact that Wisconsin's offensive line had 108 starts amongst their group of 5. That's the most of anybody in Division I college. So all the focus was upon the dominating offensive line of Wisconsin. I think that the due has to be given here, particularly the left side of the offensive line. Past the tight end Hayer and Howe, and Ben Hamilton, their terrific center, have really been creating some holes for that runner. Hamner, as you can see, big numbers today.
You'd be surprised if you could box score tomorrow. Hey, who's the 100-yard back in this game? It wasn't Ron Dana, at least not to this point. Hamner tries it, not much there for him. Donnell Thompson wrapped him up nicely.
Well, third time's the charm for the Wisconsin defense, Steve. That's the play that they've run twice for big yardage. Of course, the one just before the end of the third quarter, and then earlier in the third quarter for about 15. This time, people stay at home, make the tackle. Kevin Cosgrove, nonetheless, has to be a little bit frustrated with his charges today.
Third down and 4. What a big play this is. A makeable third down. Chance to keep the drive alive and keep the clock moving. 4 wide receivers. Hamner alone set back behind Cochran. As he walks out, signals, and it's the change to play at the line of scrimmage. And it's a give to Hamner. Doesn't get it. Big stop by that Wisconsin defense, led by Wendell Bryant.
And Dorsey is able to come from the backside and make the tackle. Bryant forces the play. Questionable. Audible at that point, Steve. You see the frustration of Glenn Mason. I'm sure he's not very happy with his quarterback Cochran because that play played right into the hands of Wisconsin. And as a result, the Gophers are 3 and out.
Rindles will punt it away. Ball snapped from the 22-yard line. Nick Davis, deep for it, will make the reception without the fair catch. And will gain 3 on the return. The punt is 46 yards. Jack Brewer brought him down.
Something that we haven't seen today, Steve, but we've seen the first month of the season is that halo call. Good discipline on the part of both coverage teams. And of course, Nick Davis, an experienced and quality returner, rarely calls the fair catch, but give them credit. Coming into this game, he'd been averaging more than 16 yards per punt return. Minnesota's special teams have been outstanding, too.
And as the Wisconsin offense takes to the field, since the 81-yard bomb they had to Davis, the Wisconsin offense is 24 plays, 66 yards. Prior to that, they got more than that on a single play, on a bomb for the touchdown.
And see, for the 3rd straight series, Ron Dane is not in the game.
Bring up a 2nd down and 5.
I mean, something that really has to be bothering him because it was 7 minutes and running left in the game. You know, your best player's on the sidelines. There's no reason. I mean, what are you resting him for now, right?
Peter Warwick's troubles off the field, hurting his run at the Heisman. If Ron Dane is hurt for any length of time, that will certainly hurt his chances. Eddie Faulkner is the running back. Here's Bollinger off the play action. Hits Coons, the fullback, and he's got enough for the first down nearly across midfield.
Mr. and Mrs. Coons, if you're at home watching this, Steve Levy is making your son a star. No, not really. He's doing it himself. Tremendous blocking, had some terrific catches downfield. Done an excellent job today. Very underrated position at fullback, number 41. That's a fullback number 2. Remember Dave Osborne, the old Minnesota Vikings, 41? Love Dave. Definite fullback number.
Coons came in with 5 receptions. And there you see his numbers this afternoon. Been very effective. And had the big block to spring Dane for the touchdown earlier in the game for Wisconsin. Ron Dane back in the game. He's got the football. And he is shoved out of bounds by Delvin Jones.
You're talking about Coons. Cecil Martin was the fullback last year, an outstanding one, and Dane comes back in the ball game. Still running a little bit tentatively, Steve, but you know, it's now or never for Wisconsin. They've got to put something together. This isn't a team that can spread them out four wides and throw and get up and down the field.
And this was supposed to be the big advantage coming into the game. Besides Dane was the Wisconsin offensive line against the Minnesota defensive front seven even. And we have not seen that. 2nd and 7. Ball spotted at midfield. Dane the lone setback. 3 wide receivers. Bollinger. Quick throw to Chambers. And he should have enough for another first down.
Willie Middlebrooks, the corner, got fooled on this. It was just a simple hitch. Take a look. Watch number 42. He takes off. He gets lost. Now watch what he does. He turns himself around, isn't quite sure. Chambers actually could have made a lot more of that if he could have seen Middlebrooks with his back turned. Still a first down for the Badgers. We called on Middlebrooks a lot today. A lot of pressure on him because of the fact that, Steve, they've been having 9 in the box. So that means as a corner, not only are you on an island, you're not getting any safety help either. I think despite the penalties, he's had himself a pretty good day.
Well, Chambers' first catch since he had the straight 40-yarder with Middlebrooks all over his back. That's Ron Dane again as Schlecht and Riley forced into the turf.
Steve, you saw that run. If that's any indication of his health, you have to say that he's hurt. He just kind of rolled into that, you know, didn't lower the shoulder. What that does is when you have the stinger, you're less inclined to lower your shoulder or lower your head and collide with the tackler. At 5'10", Ron Dane's running a little more upright than he had earlier in the game.
2nd down and 8. Clock ticked towards 5 minutes to play. Regulation time. On the 2nd and 8 from the 40. Bollinger steps up into the pocket and will take off. And he is tripped up and pushed out at the 36-yard line.
Great pursuit from the inside by Minnesota. Minnesota's not known as one of those teams that has blazing fast people, but Mesra, number 97, is able to come from his defensive tackle position, come out and drop Bollinger before he can get the first down. Now, once again, Steve, another crucial 3rd down call. Interesting point here, Steve, with the 4:55. You think this is 4-down territory?
I don't think so, no. I think they got another crack at it. With 3 timeouts still left for Wisconsin. 3rd and 3 from the 35. Bollinger, little soft pass across the middle, is complete. First down and then some. Ahmad Merritt on the reception. Merritt had a bad drop earlier in the game, but he's got the sure hands for that one. Picked up a 15 in the first down.
Retzlaff, the tight end, runs up the field and takes the coverage with him. Merritt has kind of a slant underneath. And you're right, trying to redeem himself. Watch to the right of your scene. Here comes Retzlaff. Coming underneath will be Merritt, who gets the catch. There's no coverage in the middle. He almost dropped that one, Steve. Did you notice? Almost went through his hands. He's able to redeem himself for that big drop on a previous 3rd down play.
A senior from Chicago, Illinois. Brings up a 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 20. Wisconsin on the move with the clock moving as well. Bollinger's tripped up, gets his balance back, and now taken down at the 20-yard line. Delvin Jones, the player who got the hand to trip him up, and then the pressure by Riley.
Well, that was a planned play. Again, the quarterback draw when you have the terrific athlete, but Minnesota was not fooled. Now, this is going to be an interesting set of downs here for Wisconsin. I'm thinking that at this point, with 4 minutes on the clock running, that Dane has been somewhat ineffective. This could be a chance that Bollinger might throw all 3 downs here, Steve.
Delvin Jones has been outstanding, the free safety for Minnesota. 12 tackles already. You know, you always say that's a bad sign, right? Because it means you're getting to your safeties. But their leading tackler is always the safety, the strong safety, Tyrone Carter.
Well, we're just talking about the fact that how difficult the play calling is. They want to call timeout and know exactly what it is they want to do.
All I do is dream of you the whole night through. With the dawn I still go on and dream of you. You're every thought, you're everything, you're every song I ever sing.
For those who must design trucks to compete with Dodge Ram, there is no rest.
All I do is dream of you.
1966 Mustang is a finicky little lady. She demands love, devotion, and a 4-barrel Holly carburetor. At Advanced Auto Parts, it's our job to see that she gets the carburetor and any other hard-to-find part overnight. As for the love and devotion, well, let's just say there are some things we won't get involved with.
So what you're saying is you can't change your oil every 3,000 miles because you're too busy. So you push it. Just like your cheap brother-in-law at one of those all-you-can-eats. Hey, it's your car. You want to learn the hard way? Be my guest. This is reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. You ought to change your oil on time, but if you can't, can you say insurance? Quaker State. It's been tested. It works. What more do you need to know?
Getting down to crunch time here at the sold-out Metrodome. 3:51 to play here in the fourth. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 back, and it is Ron Dane. They send the man in motion. Brooks Bollinger to throw. Looks towards the end zone, and the only man there is in the wrong color jersey. And they say Middlebrooks was out of bounds when he intercepted the football.
Bollinger shows his inexperience there. He throws into triple coverage. They're waiting on the corner. Plenty of time, but take a look as he throws the ball. You're going to see 3 off-colored shirts in the vicinity. Middlebrook makes the catch, but the right foot is indeed out of bounds. Good call by the official. Take a look at the feet. Right foot out of bounds right there. Drags the left, but it doesn't matter because he's already out of bounds.
3rd and 10 right here. Otherwise, they're staring at a 37-yard field goal attempt to try to tie the game up. Kane, a lone setback, 3 wide receivers. Here's Bellinger. Steps up, feeling the pressure, somehow escaped, but not enough. He's dropped at the 18. Delvin Jones, tackle number 13. He combined with Sean Hoffman to bring him down. And it'll bring up a field goal try to try and tie up the football game.
Delvin Jones has just been terrific. Now a lot of pressure is on Piseski, not just because of the obvious, Steve, in terms of making the kick, but here's a guy that frankly has not been that involved up to this point. It's like being a pinch hitter. You're ice cold the entire time. Now you're supposed to come in with 3 minutes left of the game and deliver. It's tough.
Piseski has made 7 consecutive field goals. This one from 35, it is up, and it is good.
Well, give him credit. I'm telling you what, that is clutch. I don't care about the distance. I'm talking about the fact that, Steve, you're just sitting around doing absolutely nothing, and then suddenly, arguably the biggest play of the game for your offense, you come in and put it between the uprights, take the crowd out of the game. That was big. They had a terrific kicker last year, and Matt Davenport now plying his wares with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Piseski now, as you pointed out, with 8 straight field goals.
The Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week. He had 12 points against Ohio State, and he boots that one through with plenty of confidence from 35 yards away, and we are tied with 2:59 to play. Well, earlier this season, Wisconsin found themselves in a battle with Cincinnati back on the 18th of September. Ron Dane was shaken up in the first quarter. Somewhat similar to the way he was shaken up in this football game here today. Dane banged up in the first quarter. You see right there the left ankle. In the fourth quarter, Cincinnati had a 14-12 lead. This is on a 2nd and 5 for the 10. Dane not at 100%. He fumbles the football after a Cincinnati field goal made it 17-12. Wisconsin trying to rally. Scott Kavanaugh to Lee Evans. The touchdown pass was erased due to a false start penalty. And Wisconsin went down to Cincinnati 17-12. Minnesota with the football. Carter will bring it out of the end zone. He's caught football, and it is picked up by Minnesota.
Steve, that was a bad decision. Jack Brewer saves the day for Minnesota, but a bad decision on the part of Carter, trying too hard to make something happen. If you hesitate at all in the end zone, Steve, if you hesitate at all, it's a situation where you just cannot come out. Jack Brewer saves the day by recovering the kick, but now they're in terrible field position, which puts the dilemma upon Glenn Mason. Do you want to just run it out and play for the overtime, or do you want to go to your 2-minute drill? I'm not so sure this is a situation where they don't want to just run it out, take some time off the clock.
Looking at the axe that is on the line. Wisconsin's had it for the last 4 years. Jason Schick had the big hit that forced the fumble. Again, we have yet to have a turnover in this football game. It's about mistake-free. Joey Bozay on the stop of Thomas Hamner.
Steve, Wisconsin has 2 timeouts left, and for those of the uninitiated, there is no 2-minute warning in college football. So I'm thinking that Kevin Cosgrove, along with John Palermo, have to consider at this point, maybe after this play, if it's a running play, to use one of their timeouts to stop the clock.
2nd and 10, ball on the 9-yard line. Play action. Cochran. Got plenty of running room, and he'll run out of bounds after he picks up enough for the first down. It's up to the 23-yard line. Clock is stopped with 2:05 to play. Pick up a 14.
John Palermo is absolutely livid, and for good reason. All day this has happened. Take a look. He penetrates. He's got to stay there. Fabre has been fooled over and over again by that misdirection. John Palermo, the defensive line coach, just cannot believe that the discipline of that youngster has been what it is. He's trying to explain it to him right now yet again.
1st and 10 from the 23. Leverson in some motion. They give it to Hamner. And he breaks it out. He's short of another first down. Pickup of about 8 on the play.
Now suddenly not only the momentum turns, but the thinking in terms of being offensive. Minnesota was content to run the thing out and get it over with. Now suddenly they're in a position, if they can get the first down here, that they need to consider stopping the clock, going with a 2-minute situation, and putting themselves in Nystrom field goal range.
Thomas Hamner, 25 carries, 140 yards today. He's been the 100-yard back, not Ron Dane. They'll give it to Hamner again. This time it'll be for a loss. Bobby Myers, the stop there.
See, Bobby Myers has made 2 really big plays. Remember, he was the one that stuffed the quarterback when they were inside the 20 earlier. Now he comes in, drops him again, forces a 3rd down play, but even more important for Wisconsin, if they want to make hay here at the end of regulation, it stops the clock. So now Minnesota has a dilemma. If they throw the ball and it's incomplete, Wisconsin would not have to use a timeout.
What is our crew doing at this game? Must have been some kind of scheduling mistake. This is unbelievable. About 27 to play regulation. 3rd down upcoming. They are 2 for 11 on the game. Well, reverse off the pitch. It's Leverson trying to carry. Now moves to the middle of the field. Runs into his own teammates. And a lot of running, not a whole lot of yards.
The thing was discombobulated at the start, and Wisconsin is wise enough to take a timeout, realizing that now they have a great opportunity. They had gone with the fake reverse a number of times, Steve, thinking at this point, did John Loney, that now if we do this, Steve Loney rather, excuse me, we can get the reverse and make it happen. It did not happen. Now Wisconsin, depending upon the return of Nick Davis, is going to be in pretty good field position.
You see the timeouts remaining. 2 for Minnesota, 1 for Wisconsin. We were 14-14 at halftime. We're 17 all here with 1:15 to play. A 4th and 2 for Minnesota. The ball spotted at the 31-yard line. Time now to take a look at the Outback outstanding back of the game. Might have thought it would have been Ron Dane coming in. It's not. It's Thomas Hamner. He's had an outstanding game. You look at the rushing and the receiving yardage and a touchdown. Holly, what do you have?
There's confusion on the sideline right now for Wisconsin. Their defense seems to be in disarray. 3 coaches out on the field trying to shuffle in and out personnel. They don't seem to know what's happening right now.
Holly, the reason for that is because they're concerned about a fake. They usually have what they call their safe team, and their safe team is when they keep their defense on the field. They got caught with about 20 men on the field, so that stopping the clock was not simply the fact of stopping the clock. They were really in disarray. They could have had the 5-yard penalty for the illegal substitution.
Does not having your head coach on the sideline come into play in that situation?
Certainly could.
Brindle will punt it away.
Bad time for a bad kick, Steve.
Nick Davis will let it bounce. And it takes a bit of a Minnesota roll. And Wisconsin will operate 1st and 10 from the 26.
Very small point, Steve, but one to be made nonetheless. With the clock running, and you want the clock to be running in your favor, when your people are downing the ball, let the thing roll. Don't touch it because the clock keeps going on and on and on. They could have bled another 5 or 6 seconds out of that.
And even 60 seconds remaining on the clock, regulation time, tied at 17. And if ever a rivalry game was meant to go into overtime, this would be it. These two going at it since 1890. And here we are in 1999. First and 10. Ball at the 26-yard line. Ron Dane is in there. But it's Bollinger to pass. Looking deep, as you would expect. Looked like there might have been, again, some contact there with Willie Middlebrooks, the coverage on Chris Chambers. It just falls incomplete.
I got to tell you, if I'm Bollinger, I'm not very happy with Chambers. Chambers is just loafing down the field. He doesn't think he's going to get the ball, so he's not running hard. Middlebrooks is with him stride for stride, but Chambers is not running full speed at all.
Bollinger now 11 of 20 passing in the game for 212 yards. They said of him last week, they were pleased with the way he played, not surprised. It'll be interesting to see what they have to say about this game. Second and 10 from the 26. Bollinger feeling the pressure, looks to take off. He's tucked it under, and he is belted by Tyrone Rattly.
This shows the great speed and pursuit of Rattly. Rattly was in on the pass rush. He was pushed to the outside behind the quarterback, and once the quarterback started to scramble, he was able to bounce back, and he does knock him forward, but he gave him a whack. Now Wisconsin uses their last timeout.
Schlecht forced him into the teammates' arms, and it brings up a 3rd and 7. The ball at the 29.
Something that they haven't done, which would be big here. I'm telling you, this would be big.
All right.
Has not caught a pass all year has been Ron Dane. Great opportunity here for a screen pass. It would come out of nowhere because, of course, Ron Dane has just been a complete non-factor here in the game up to this point. I take that back. Non-factor in terms of statistically.
Speaking of Ron Dane, he is featured in our Value City big play of the game, but it's not the kind of big play you might normally associate with Ron Dane. Took place in the first half. It was when he appeared to injure himself, and he really has not been the same since that point in the football game.
Well, in the fourth quarter in crunch time, he's only had 3 carries for 5 yards, and so as you pointed out earlier, Steve, the onus of the offensive success for Wisconsin squarely on the shoulders of number 5, Brooks Bollinger.
Here we go on 3rd and 7. Pass, tremendous coverage, but the flag comes late. Looking to hit Nick Davis, and again, it's Willie Middlebrooks on the coverage, and the flag flies.
That's the 3rd time for Middlebrooks, and he's all over him. Take a look to the right of your screen.
Pass interference on the defense. Spot foul, automatic first down.
Steve, to Middlebrooks' credit, he has been aggressive regardless of the calls. Here's Nick Davis. He settles down, never gets him out of his back pedal. Over the top, he has his hand on it. Well, that's close. That is awfully close. Here's the throw. Watch to the right of your screen. He does have his hand on his back. That's a close call, but I can see what the officials saw.
37 ticks remaining, gives him a first down at the 35-yard line. And we get a flag before the ball is snapped.
You know, we were talking earlier about the fact that they hadn't had any of those halo things. We hadn't had an illegal substitution either. I wonder if that's what this is.
How about no turnovers in the football game either?
It's amazing.
Prior to the snap, the offense was in the neutral zone. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Evidently what had happened is that one of the linemen shuffled a little bit while there was motion, and that's a dead ball foul. Wisconsin's going to be hard-pressed with 37 seconds left, and not the normal 2-minute kind of offense that you'd think. Difficult for Bollinger to get into field goal range.
Without any timeouts, Minnesota has 2 left. You're looking at 40 yards to be sure that you're in field goal range. Makes it a 1st and 15 off the flag. Bollinger will take off up the middle with some running room. And it looks like he got all the yardage back and the first down. And the clock is stopped with 30 seconds left.
Looking about 25 yards now with that 15-yard gain. Good call up the middle. And, of course, with the clock stopping.
And they spike it. Stop the clock again.
I was going to say, Bollinger did a great job of being aware of that ahead of time. So that both plays only took 10 seconds. Not about the 46. Pasitsky's longest is 53 yards. But whenever I hear that, that's not what I think about in terms of range. So you're looking at getting to about the 30-yard line to be sure that you're in field goal range, 24, 25 yards.
With 27 seconds remaining, and again, no timeouts for Wisconsin. Dane is in there. Lines up next to Bollinger. Takes the shotgun snap. Pressure on Bollinger. Looks to Ron. He's got some room here. And now he'll try to get him back. What a block. He got some help. Did not have enough for the first down, but did get out of bounds at the 48 of Minnesota. The block by Ahmad Merritt, the wide receiver, and he just laid a man out.
Well, in that case, Henry just absolutely did not see Merritt coming. Tyrone Carter comes from the side on the blitz, and he has him dead to rights. Watch, here comes Carter from the left of your screen. Bollinger's able to set up and avoid it. Ron Dane, terrible in blocking, but Bollinger's able to do it. Watch the screen. Body's going to fly in right there. Bam! Merritt just crushes Henry, and Bollinger smart enough to get out of bounds. Take a look at this shot right here. Watch the head snap back. Ouch! I'll tell you what, as an offensive player, those are the kind you dream of.
Jimmy Henry from Detroit, Michigan on the receiving end of that block. We'll step out, and we'll have the thrilling conclusion of this one. 19 seconds left in regulation.
This is big. $200 million big. Value City just bought the entire inventory of Starter. You know, the #1 brand of authentic team sports apparel. So, if you don't get it here, you just don't get it. Look at this, our biggest deal ever. You get prices so low, we can't save the teams or the leagues. How's that for starters? Hey, it's your money. Get more for it.
You know, Kenny and I never compare statistics.
Our Super Bowl.
That way we can drink our Miller Lights without arguing. Right, Mr. Fewer career touchdown passes than me?
Right, Mr. Never Been to the Big One.
We only talk about why Miller Lite tastes great.
It's the choice hops.
No, Snake. Miller Lite tastes great because it's smooth. But let's not fight.
Yeah, you're right. Let's be friends.
Table ready for Mr. I don't have as many passing yards as Stan Fouts?
Hey, that's you.
Miller Lite. Taste the true Pilsner.
Radar indicates snow tomorrow. Just kidding, but it's closer than you think. Time is running out to save thousands on any motorhome, travel trailer, or fifth wheel remaining. New or used. The final days of the boss's retirement are here. Don't miss out by waiting for that better deal to come along. It's here right now. Wake up, get serious. Now's the time to buy. Don't wait and be sorry when your friends tell you about the great deal they got from Spickler's Leisure World. See the unreal prices now here at Spickler's. All offers considered in the final days. Spickler's Leisure World, Highway 53 North, Eau Claire. Be there and save big money.
Here we go. 19 seconds left in regulation. No timeout for Wisconsin. Tie football game. Brooks Bollinger feeling the pressure behind him, trying to take off, and he is stopped short of the first down. Tyrone Rattly made the stop on him.
Tyrone Rattly, boy, what pursuit. Came from the backside over the All-American McIntosh. Just missed him, but stayed with it. And the clock has run out, Steve. That's it.
You saw Vitaly Pasitsky hoping to get an attempt to win this in regulation time. But we are likely to see him in overtime. The 109th meeting all time between Wisconsin and Minnesota will be decided in overtime. We'll have the OT when we come back.
Get up, get down. Hang tight, hang loose. Out back in the sun.
Life in the outback isn't all fun and games. After all, sometimes we have to eat.
Outback Steakhouse, no rules, just right.
Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
When we redesigned Dodge Neon, we gave it a longer wheelbase and more total interior volume. Not to mention a 132-horse, 16-valve engine, 4-wheel independent suspension, theater-style lighting, 4 cup holders, a standard 6-speaker stereo, and tons of other good stuff. Dodge Neon.
different.
Cellular One is celebrating the re-grand opening of their Rib Mountain location. Join them at all Cellular One locations for grand opening specials, including a free Ericsson digital phone, a $299 value, and double your free minutes on some of their most popular rate plans. For a limited time, you can get not 100 free minutes, but 200 free minutes for $19.95. For $29.95 a month, you get not 300, but 600 free minutes. These plans include Cellular One's expanded home coverage area and valuable features like caller ID, extended battery life, and free voicemail service. So stop in a Cellular One today and take advantage of their great grand opening specials.
Today's Big Ten football game has been brought to you by BMW. Test drive the ultimate driving machine at your local BMW Center. Villanova, the official energy sponsor of today's Big Ten football game. Villanova provides energy plus solutions for business. Power up with Villanova. Value City Department Stores and Value City Furniture Stores. Get the home team advantage. Prestone Antifreeze. Protect your car in the Prestone zone. Dodge. Do not follow. Do not conform. Be different. And by Quaker State Motor Oil for protection beyond 3,000 miles.
The axe on the line with that 6-foot-long handle that has every score on it dating back to 1890. What score will it have on after this game? The coin toss to start overtime.
This is the call. It's come up heads. Listen carefully to me. You can go on defense first. You want to go on defense first. You want to go on defense first. So you want to take and have it going this way. All right, you stand here.
There you see. Both teams will get a shot on offense. Wisconsin won the toss. They choose to defend first. Each team will get one possession from the opponent's 25-yard line per overtime until the winner is decided. Forget about the game clock. Might as well turn it off. The only clock that exists is the play clock. And after a second overtime, you would then be forced to go for the two-point conversion. Not the case in the first and second OT. This is exciting, Part.
It certainly is. And one of the things I always find fascinating is that throughout the game, the inability to move up and down the field, but suddenly in the overtime with 25 yards to go, people just run through the defenses like a sieve. Big opportunity here for Wisconsin to see what they can do.
I'd like to be in Barry Alvarez's hallway outside his hospital room right now watching the game on television. Going to the end zone, and Cockerham overthrew Luke Leverson on the first down.
One of the things you have to be concerned with here, too, Cockerham does certainly, is that, Hamner, as we pointed out, nearly 140 yards rushing. I think it was 144 yards rushing coming into the overtime. You got to, to use the old Bum Phillips line, you got to dance with who brung you. And I'm not sure that right now throwing it into the end zone from the 25 is wisdom.
Hamner averaging 5.3 yards per carry. Ron Dame today averaging just 3 yards per carry. Only 65 yards. Second and 10 from that 25, and there you go. Listen to TC, and Hamner carries the football.
This is a big, big flag right here, because if this is holding, this puts them out of field goal range. And more than likely, that's what it's going to be.
We await the official word from the referee.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Take a look at Ryan Roth, the right guard at the point of attack. Comes down right there. You can see a little bit of a takedown. The spin out in that case. I'm not sure in a lot of cases that's holding, but what the official sees, he sees the arm around the shoulder of Newser. Excuse me, of Malik, rather. The result is now there at the 35.
The first holding penalty on either team today. There's Cockerham overthrowing Leverson again by a long distance.
Now, we talk about this, and certainly Steve Loney is going to be second guess for his decisions here in terms of the play calling. But now, Steve, here's a situation where you really want to look at something like, say, a quarterback draw, a hook pattern, something that's going to get you enough yards just to get back into field goal range. Right. Never mind the idea of getting a first down, which really is kind of inconceivable here, 3rd and 20.
Keep in mind, Minnesota kicker Dan Nystrom missed earlier from 27. He did, however, make a 37-yard field goal. 3rd and 20 from the 35. Cockerham nicely by Jamar Fletcher. He sticks him at the 41-yard line.
Remember earlier we saw when the wide receiver went in motion and he was able to pick off the linebacker. Side drops him for a big loss of 40. Steve, they're out of field goal range now. So here, there's the wide receiver waiting to block, but Fletcher doesn't go with him. He just waits on Hamner, drops him at the 40, and now they're going to be forced to go for it, Steve. There's no way they can hit a 58-yard field goal.
You know, they looked to Leverson a couple times and overthrew him here in the overtime. He's their leading receiver coming in. He has 0 catches today.
Steve, they took too much time.
Play clock had expired. Again, there's no game clock in overtime, just a 25-second play clock, which is sitting on 0.
So now they're going to come up 4th and 30. That's heads up, I got to tell you, by Jamar Fletcher, because that play had been so successful that finally he says, no, I'm reading the play. I recognize the formation, the motion, everything else. We talk about his coverage, but he has made a couple of big stops today for the Badgers.
What do you got in the playbook for 4th and 30?
Divine inspiration?
How about 5 wide receivers? Who's got that? Here's Cockerham throwing. And it is intercepted by the man who made the big stop on the last play. It's Jamar Fletcher who comes up with the pick.
Now here's what I'm looking at, Steve. Wisconsin has the ball on the 25-yard line. Dane left, Dane right, Dane left again. Get down to about the 17-yard line, set it in the middle of the field for the 34-yarder for Pasetsky to drill home. And then the people in red and white go home happy.
Officially, it's the first turnover of the game. How about that? 1 turnover takes overtime, 1 holding penalty the entire day, and that takes overtime to get there.
Well played.
Excellent football game today.
Really is.
Good product out there. And, of course, that turnover is no better than an incomplete pass.
As I said, let's not forget 2 roughing the kicker penalties.
All right, yeah. Okay. There were some special teams hang-ups, sure, if you want to nitpick, Todd. Here's Ron Dane. You see the subpar numbers, but a chance to still be a hero. Here in overtime. Wisconsin 1st and 10 from the 25, and they get it to Dane. And he is forced out at the 14, and there's a flag on the play.
I think Tyrone Carter had him by the face mask. They bunched in 8-9 in the box. Dane breaks it to the outside. They weren't expecting it to get him down. Carter needed to grab him by the mask. Just as we've been talking about Ron Dane not having any kind of impact on the game late, suddenly he breaks to the outside, big play. Number 22 comes over. He knows he's overmatched. You see the right hand right there pulling on the mask. Good call by the official. That'll move it even closer for Wisconsin.
Dane got 11 yards on that play. His prior 6 carries, a total of 6 yards.
Now here's where on the sidelines, John Palermo or even has to sit with his kicker and tell him which hash do you want it on. Do you want to stay on the left hash? Do you want the right hash? Do you want it in the middle? Because that can be crucial.
This is a 1st and goal from the 9. Yeah, why not? Give it to Ron Dane. And he is dropped at the 5-yard line. Carter got him that time without the face mask.
You're looking at over 1,000 carries for Ron Dane, and he's had only 8 fumbles in his career. So you're saying to yourself, what's the deal here? Why not kneel down? Instead, they're thinking to themselves, hey, Ron Dane is a sure thing, certainly in terms of not giving up the ball.
That's Vitaly Pasetsky looking to have a chance. Again, he has connected on 8 straight field goals, including 1 in this game.
The thinking might be on the sidelines. This might be something that Barry Alvarez is relaying. Look, we don't even want to take any chances with kicks. We got the big stud. We got a Marino. Let's just get it in the end zone, get it over with.
2nd and goal. They call it the 5. They'll give it to Dane. He is stopped short. Jimmy Wyrick made the tackle.
Now here's a situation, Steve, where I'm thinking maybe they do want to do the field goal, and here's why. On 3rd down, if they fumble the snap, they can just cover it and do it all over again. Going for the touchdown here might not have been wisdom, but evidently that's what they're going to do. I'm thinking that Dane, they already know, I'm sure, at this point, what side he wants to kick from, whether it's the middle, left, or right. That's the direction that they're going to run and set up the kick. Don't for a minute go think that Ballins, you can't beat like this, Steve.
35 from the 5. Dane stopped. A flag comes late.
I'm not
a
sure.
Loss on the play.
Steve, I think they might get McIntosh for holding here.
McIntosh, the big stud on that Wisconsin offensive line. Schleck had the stop.
Now this tests the kind of confidence that you have in your kicker. They're going to move it back from the spot of the foul, Steve, which means it goes from the 10 to the 20. Then you're looking at a 37-yard kick, depending upon the game that Dane has or if they opt to throw.
Holding, offense, 10-yard previous spot, repeat third down.
Once again, you know, this is where youth is served. You have to be aware of the situation, which is, okay, the guy beat me a little bit. I'm not going to hold. Let him get tackled at the 6. We have a 23-yard field goal. Instead, there's a bit of a takedown. Now it's a different situation.
Quickly, are we a fan of overtime?
This is the first one this year. Come on, don't make me ask so soon. You know how I feel about it, and that is that I wish they'd just play another quarter. These are young people in tremendous shape.
3rd and 15. Might as well be 3rd and goal from the 15. Wallinger.
Steve, that shows the confidence that they have in Pasetsky. They're going to drive to the middle of the field. I mentioned I thought he was going to be back to the 20. I was wrong. It wasn't from the spot of the foul. It was at the 6-yard line. So now he'll be, you know, back to the 16. Now he's at the 13-yard line. You're talking about a 30 or 31-yard kick right down the middle.
And this is it. This is for the football game. This will be a 31-yard attempt. The snap from Mike Saulwood. Tim Rosga, who's been involved in just about everything today.
This is WSAW Television, Channel 7, Wausau. We now join our regularly scheduled program, Already in Progress.
Okay, I don't think this is going to make any difference whatsoever.
He is a senior, and you know he's cool and calm because he's from New York, New York.
Yeah, by way of Russia. Interesting physique for a kicker, too. 5'10", 228. It's kind of a Ron Dane physique. Ron Dane Jr.
Vitaly Pasetsky had 12 points against Ohio State a week ago. Again, he's made 8 straight field goals, this from 31, and this for the win. Mike Saulwood, the snapper, Tim Rosga, the holder, for Vitaly Pasetsky. The snap, the hold, the kick. It is up, and it is good. All over. Wisconsin, they can't get the axe fast enough. For a 5th consecutive season, they will have the axe. They win in overtime, 20-17. And Ron Dane remains 864 yards short now of becoming the all-time leading NCAA rusher. The player of the game is the quarterback, Brooks Bollinger. What a couple of weeks. His first 2 starts, he rallies the team at Ohio State and wins a game here in overtime against arch-rival Minnesota. He is our Dodge player of the game.
Just tremendous excitement. You know, you sit there and you think sometimes, what's the big deal about the Paul Bunyan axe? We had a chance to feel that today. Just exciting, exciting college football.
In front of a capacity crowd here at the Metrodome, it's over. In overtime, Wisconsin defeats Minnesota. For Todd Christensen and Holly Rowe, this is Steve Levy. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.